Dopest dope I ever smoked.
Oh man, you can't start the cast like that.
Uh, Pineapple Express.
Like
You
when
know,
I was
I
14.
haven't. Never did.
Legit, it's from the movie, man. That has some of the most quotable quotes I've ever heard. I actually saw 21 Jump pieces of it. Um, yeah, that movie is it didn't age well. It still has some good moments. All right, let me check the sound and all that stuff. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yes, sir. I'm feeling right.
You know, I randomly watched a Naruto Shippuden movie the other day.
Really? Which one?
The Blood Prison one, man. That's the hypest one.
Is it? I haven't seen it. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it movie or is it canon? What is it?
No, I don't think it's canon. Yeah, it's not
It's
like
canon.
the Boruto movie or The Last.
The last,
Um,
yeah.
but no, I mean what makes this one interesting is that it's not, the fucking typical save the princess that all like anime movies like plots usually are. And this one is
Right.
like Naruto gets fucking arrested and thrown into jail.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, he has to break out.
My
Um,
man, my man got locked away.
yeah. He was like wrongfully accused and he gets like thrown in prison.
Hey, yo,
Um,
that's Super Mario Sunshine plot.
and he can't use any jutsu because like as soon as you get inside, they put this ceiling jutsu on you that prevents anyone from using chakra. And yeah, it's pretty sick. He meets this like girl inside who's really cool. And she's like really important to the story. It's actually like pretty fucking dark as well. Yeah, it's a really cool. It's cool because it feels different from like the typical, I feel like, Naruto movie.
Yeah, usually there's so many of them, and they all sound so similar, and they're all so similar, especially Naruto proper, not Shippuden.
We are
Uh,
good.
All
Good
right.
stuff. Good stuff. We ready to dive into video game land.
That's right.
Right.
Get myself comfy, bud. All right,
Ooh.
let's do it.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the 8th episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I'm your host, Soul, the connoisseur of anime waifus, joined as always by, I got Walt with me. How you doing, man?
What's going on, y'all? Not much manga lately, but it's still the maniac, because that shelf keeps growing. It's like a backlog of video games. I keep getting more volumes, and I got into One Piece recently, and I'm getting the volumes for that. So I am 23 volumes in. How many more? 70 something more left to go? But I'm not buying them at bulk, because that's mad expensive. But we're ready to talk video games, and we're ready to dive into some, I hopefully, more light-hearted topics and some other more serious ones. So ready to get into it today.
Macho, how you doing, man?
Doing well. What's going on, everybody? This is King Kingdom Hearts and the Final Fantasy fanatic. I'm excited for this one, Jay and Walt, because I'm gonna break off a little bit from video games, but it's video game related. But man, Arcane on Netflix, one of the best shows I've seen this
Amen.
year. I can't talk about this show enough to my fiance just because it's so good, and I'm happy to see a lot of other people are loving it too.
She
It's such an amazing show. Have you
she
guys actually
hasn't
been watching it?
she hasn't been watching it with you?
Here and there. She got Pokemon yesterday, so she's not watching anything but that.
Gotcha.
But
I
have you
hear
guys been
that.
watching it?
Yes,
Yeah, for
sir.
sure. I'm on
Um,
episode 7. Yeah, I'm,
yeah,
I'm enjoying it as well, man. It's really good.
yeah. I'm on episode 3 still. I'm Act 1. I just finished Act 1. Uh, but I gotta say, man, if it's those first 3 episodes set the tone and set what's to come, and if it gets better, bro,
Yeah,
I acknowledge I am not ready. I
it's a
am not
damn
ready.
it's a damn good introduction. those first 3 episodes. Although I will admit that fucking what's its name, Heimendinger or whatever.
Yeah.
That thing's fucking disgusting, man. Every time that thing comes on screen, man, I'm just disgusted, man. I'm like, please hurry up, get off the screen, man.
Damn,
I hate it.
you don't like cute and fluffy things? What's going on? That's the whole point.
No, it's just the fucking voice, man.
Oh yeah. I know it strays into like Star Wars like kind of silliness with that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, I was more. I felt at ease when he was on screen. I don't know. He felt very lighthearted, and I don't know. I liked when he was on screen. I you speak of fluffy things, being disturbing and whatnot. I think out of those 3 episodes, the most disturbing part would have been the whatever it transforms into, the thing. I forgot his name. When he takes the purple serum, whatever. That was as disturbing as the episodes got, but not. I wasn't petrified or anything. But damn, those 3 episodes. Oh, golly. If it gets, bro, let me tell you, I've seen GIFs of.
It's
if I
amazing,
saw,
man. It's
bruh,
amazing.
Oh, the animation, man, and the story where it's going, it's so rich. It's so rich in story. I'm excited. I can't wait to just binge watch the other 6.
Yeah, it's I got to episode 8 before the podcast. And I was telling Walt before, man. I was like, I don't know, I might just call in sick for this podcast just to watch that one episode. It's so good. Like even from the first episode, man, it reminds me of like it already oozes like such like a rich storytelling world building in itself, and it's just from like the tone of the art as well as like the characters with like the dialogue of the characters and everything. It reminds me so much of why I love Avatar: Last Airbender.
Ooh.
Because like it's so detailed and it's so enriching with like just in every frame you can tell like there's like the hints of life like in this world that seems real, it's not, right? It's the same thing with like with Arcane. It's the exact same thing to the point where I'm just like, man, like I want more of this. I need more of this. I'm never gonna play League of Legends, but I want more of this.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I was talking to you all before about the Ruined King, which is the game that's Stealth Drop, which is like a League of Legends branch off.
Man,
Like
don't tell me now you're gonna try that.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
it's a turn-based RPG.
Oh, really?
So,
Sir.
Yeah. So they're actually branching off the League of Legends franchise into different like genres of games other than just MOBAs. So the Ruined King is turn-based RPG, and then what was the other one?
The other one was called Convergence, and it's about Echo. And it's a platformer, a side scroller, platforming action, like Hollow Knight, similar, or like the Castlevania games. And it essentially the key component of that one is time traveling, because Echo in the game seems like he has time traveling abilities.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's centered around that and how you can go back and like do different approaches to like different situations. It looks cool. To be honest, us JRPG lovers, I look at Ruined King and that's speaking more to me. Not saying I'm not gonna give Echo Convergence a try, but Ruined King, dude, I've seen some clips, I've seen some battles, and the level of detail. The level of detail reminds me a little bit to Child of Light during the battles. The movement of the characters and the environments, it's so fluid and it's so alive during battle.
I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly the thing I was thinking of too when it came to Ruined King. Yeah, I was like, this is like reminding me of like a Child of Light with the little bar at the bottom, kind of showing you where the characters' abilities or characters' actions are now, and as well as the enemies, and you can like shift them, and it's like there's a whole strategy to it. But it looks cool, man. But this is all based like from like Arcane, right? Where like I'm watching the show, I'm like, I want more of this. I just can't believe the quality of the show, man. It's the second time this year where it's something that's based on video games, but not the video games that made me want to go back to the original source material.
And and you know what's crazy? Main components, Jinx and Vi, 2 of dozens and dozens and dozens of characters. So they have, dude, This
I
is
think they
not
have.
a
I
milk.
think they have like 120 or something like that.
Yeah, it's in the hundreds. It's a lot. So they got reasons to animate, and they got a lot of stories to tell. I don't know how interesting they all are. I don't know if they're all as interesting to tell, but they really picked some perfect ones to start off with. Because I think not only Jinx is one of the most popular characters that they have in terms of just general like media and whatnot, and like pop culture, but the story itself, it's a very like fascinating one. So I hope they keep touching on more interesting ones. There's a couple of characters in the series so far that are playable characters in game, just that they're starting off and it's not their current like final form that they have in game. Like Jace, I believe Jace is one of the characters in the game, but this shows just how he obtains like powers and whatnot, which I'm excited for. I'm excited to see more of Arcane and more of Riot. Riot is going kind of crazy, man. not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind also a Valorant show because Valorant got some great characters in there too. I don't know, Riot has the things with stories and characters like Overwatch. It's like Blizzard. When they make a character, they really flesh out the character. It just so happens that the games they're not focused around story, which kind of sucks because I would like to play League, but no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do wish that, again, we touched on this before the podcast, but I wish, man, that Overwatch wasn't in Blizzard and Activision wasn't in such disarray.
Yeah.
Or they focus so much on esports that they could actually do things like Arcane, but
100%.
man, that's a whole nother bag of worms. So
For sure. For sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about so that's it for your intro. That's how you wanted to spend it. You wanted to talk about Arcane.
yeah, dude, I had to because I totally missed on talking about it last week, so I wanted to bring it up again just because like it's so good, man. It's so good.
All right. So yeah,
Plus,
man.
I'll fight you for vibe. I'll fight you for vibe. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
Hey, yo.
Crazy. Hey man,
Chicken
I'm
pound
glad the viewers got spared of some of the talk y'all were having earlier, man.
Hey,
But
man.
without further ado, man, we're gonna move into talking about the games that we've been playing this past week. I'm excited to get into this because I've been playing a lot, but I'm gonna need one of y'all to take it away first because I gotta finish this thumbnail really quick. So who wants to go first?
Macho, I'm intrigued to hear more in depth about what you think about what you played on the trial that you've been playing. And what game is it?
Oh yeah, so I've been curious about Hitman, guys. I when you guys were talking about it, as well as a couple of my friends on Twitter, were just like, obviously Mo too, when he came on last week, he's like, yeah, Hitman, oh, it's so good, it's such a good game, blah blah blah. And so I knew that was gonna go on sale for Black Friday, so I just wanted to check it out. So I've been playing the trial, and I'm intrigued by it, man. Like I'm trying to understand it because from what I was, I know. Scoff at this comparison, but I really couldn't really understand it until Walt kind of guided me yesterday about like kind of like what it was. It's not like a Breath of the Wild kind of exploration and kind of game. It's more
Wait, really quickly to that point. I don't know if you guys saw from a certain someone yesterday, but they were like, Halo Infinite is Breath of the Wild, or like Halo's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I did see that. I did. I was definitely. I was like, oh boy. And then that meme I shared before, where like the red pill was good descriptive words, and the other pill was
Breath of the Wild.
like Breath of the Wild, and then like the hands like bathing and full of like the other Breath of the Wild pills. I was like, oh god. It's true though.
I got
like,
my point across though.
It's so true though. It's so true. But yeah, so I've been playing a little bit of Hitman. Yeah, so when Walt actually said to me like, yeah, it's kind of like it's not like Breath of the Wild exploration and creativity experimentation really. It's more of just like follow these objectives but do them in any way or any order that you kind of want to do them in. Yeah. So you can't really get that sense when you're doing the trial, I feel like, unless you get to like the third mission, which I'm in right now. So like the first two missions is very ordered, like go here, go there, and it's very obvious of what to do. But the third one's like all right, get to the sniper rifle, and then I'm like, huh, okay, how do I get there? Well, I know I need to disguise as a guard first because I need to get past this place, and then I know I need to get the key card, so I need to go to this person. So like that's where like I'm trying to find like the magic. I think I might have just found it actually while playing while doing the podcast here. So
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
I don't say this like disparagingly because I know you're just starting, but I feel like to that point of Walt saying that this isn't like, you know, Breath of the Wild level of, you know, like experimentation and whatnot. Like I feel like the true way to play Hitman is like just turn off the you know the objectives and like the notifications and the things that like literally are just putting like waypoints to tell you where to go. Like the best way to play that game is just like figuring it all out on by yourself. And obviously you're just starting, so like I can understand that would be like really like overwhelming. But like yeah, like once you get to a point where you can do that and you understand the game fully, like that is absolutely like getting the most out of that game. If you just turn off all the waypoints and notifications and just like walk into a level and just start from scratch and just be like, okay, let's try to figure out how to get to a target.
yeah, and I think that's a hurdle where I have to come over because like I'm waiting to be told what to do because I'm so confused by like how this game operates.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I
That
was.
yeah, that I'm just like, just tell me what to do. Like so
Yeah. But here's the thing.
that's what I was struggling. That's why I'm like, where Jay, were you before, like when you're playing the podcast and you're like, all right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up this golf ball so then when this guy hits it, he's gonna blow up. But first, I have to turn on like the vacuum so he gets pissed off so he can stop working.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to understand how you reach that conclusion, that creativity,
Right.
based by just jumping right in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And that's where I'm being thrown off. That's what I'm trying to understand.
yeah,
The
it takes a lot of time to get to that point, man. You gotta you gotta get to a point where you just like understand like all the mechanics, like where and how the NPCs move in the world. You gotta understand
Yeah.
like what every item that you pick up does, where they're located, and that comes with, you know, repetition of like playing through these levels over and over again through trial and error, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work.
exactly.
So yeah.
And you're incentivized to do that. And I compared it to how with Resident Evil, the more you play, the more you get out of the game. And with Hitman, I feel it's the same because I explained how in Hitman 2, I don't know Hitman 3 specifically, I know with Hitman 2 that if you keep playing and doing more objectives, you unlock more ways of starting off the mission and approaching situations. So, like there's a Miami mission in Hitman 2 where you have to kill someone that could be racing a car and someone that could be looking at prototypes of androids. So with those two key things, the possibility later on, if you keep progressing and getting more experience and more mastery levels in this mission, you are able to start off the mission as like a car mechanic. And what that allows you is to get access to the car that the target is going to drive, tinker with it, and when they go to drive it, it malfunctions and they die in an accident. So it gives you more options of how to approach the targets and how to kill them. You do have the objective list, which you did mention you thought it was more free form, but then I explained how it's not so much that the objectives you create them, it's more so the way there. So instead of, you know,
You
how I
gotta find
mentioned,
them.
instead of exactly, and maybe you find it through just your, you know, Agent 47 suit, red tie, black suit, and just nothing else, and just stealth the whole way in. Or you can become a guard and get the key cards and go in. You can become a waiter and get some food and go serve someone and go in. Like, there's different ways of approaching things. It's the same objective, but it's different ways that you can approach it. And I like that. I feel I like to live my fantasies and feel like I'm an actual spy, baby, and I'm
See,
going in.
like the most like obviously like the most exciting kills are gonna be like the main like story ones or
100%.
whatever. But like, you know, some
Yeah,
of my
the cutscene ones.
or like the ones that have like multiple steps to them that, you know, then
Yeah.
leads you to the kill. But like some of my favorite ones have been like the ones where I'm just kind of like fucking around and just like, just planning out things like by myself in my head, like, okay, like how do I want to do this without looking at, the predetermined
Objective.
like ways that they lay out for you. So like there's one that I remember there's a level in Hitman 1 that's like very Italy inspired called Sapienza, and there's like this underground lab which that's there's a lot of that in Hitman. But one of the targets is just like she enters the lab, and you just kind of like follow her for a little bit, and you notice that there's like a bunch of like stalactites on the roof. And so I'm thinking, okay, can I shoot one of those down? And I do. And I just wait for her to like get underneath like one of them. I shoot one of them down, and it drops on her head. And that's one of those instances where like you don't have to look at an objective. That's just you creating a kill by yourself. And the game is littered with opportunities like that you can just kind of like create out of thin air. Like everything everything you need to like kill these targets are out there in the world. You just got to find them and piece it together to create like your own sort of like perfect kill.
Yeah, and in the world, being in constant motion helps with you being able to pull off things that you usually don't think can pull off. Like if for instance a target is standing near a ledge, and there's a mob of people, there's just people all around. But if you get just the right timing, where no one is looking and everyone just so happens to be turning around, you can immediately just grab a pool ball and boom, throw it at their hand, and they'll fall through the ledge, and you can just leave. And everyone's like, "Wait, that person died?" And you're just like, "Yeah, I don't know who did it." Like you just like there are moments where they're so ridiculous, but they work. But you have to make them work. And again, and when I mention it is a common comparison, and I need to specify why I said Breath of the Wild. It's because I'm comparing them to the shrines, because the shrines literally like give you 5 or 6 tools where you can use them in any order, in any way, in no predetermined way. Hitman doesn't do that specifically, but what it does, it's enough freedom to where it's not the same sneak, kill, hide that a lot of stealth games have, which I don't like. That's why stealth games usually are hit or miss for me, like Assassin's Creed. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I understand. Sorry, I was
What you
listening to what
doing?
you're saying. I just inserted a coin to the soda machine that threw at a guard and it popped on his head.
Yeah, man, it's the best.
There you go.
And like I remember in Hitman, I think it's probably like the second level. I want to say the Dartmoor level. It's the level that's like very what's its name? Knives Out inspired, and so like you have to like you have to wait for all of them to kind of like disperse and get them separated and whatnot to pick off some of them. And I remember like just messing around, but like this was me after playing that level like 4 or 5 times. And one of the family members was like in the main hall by himself, just sitting on a couch reading a newspaper, and I'm just like like okay, like I'm gonna have some fun. So I just took like I think it was like a packet of like baking soda or something. Like I hid behind a chair and just like quickly yeeted it like at his face while he's reading the newspaper, and the whole thing like explodes and his body just goes like limp. It's just like and then like all the guards in the mansion are like freaking out. It's the best thing. While I just like hurriedly or like escape out the back door. It's just so fun, man. Just like creating your own opportunities like that. But yeah, man, I'm glad to hear that you're having a great time with it. It's honestly probably my game of the year. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to unravel a little bit. I came home yesterday from work, like obviously, like I was gonna say to myself, like I just don't want to do anything. Like I don't want to think about nothing. So that's why I was having a little bit like a struggle just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
And that's when I messaged Walt. But like now I'm playing it now, and like oh great, they found the body that I just killed. So like I had to
Right.
think of like ways to get around that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm starting to understand it now, and I think I might cop it for Black Friday. Like just delve into it bit by bit and like go through the levels. It's
Definitely.
fun so far. I do like it.
It's got some of the best levels in the series without a doubt. So, and there's one specifically in Hitman 3 that is like probably the most like different level in terms of like what they have you do. In terms of like it's not a traditional like kill these one or two targets. So yeah, Hitman 3 definitely does a lot of things that kind of like flip the traditional Hitman formula on its head, and it's so much better for that. So yeah, man, I'm excited to hear that you're enjoying it. Is that it for games that you've been playing?
Yeah, that's about it. And then just delving into actually I accomplished a great goal last weekend, man. I got the platinum for both Tales of Arise and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I 100% of those games, and let me just say, Jay, Guardians of the Galaxy is worth a replay. It's worth a replay.
Oh.
It's absolutely like I love the different choices and the different kind of things you can get as far as like the collectible stuff like that, how it unlocks different conversations that I didn't unlock the first time. It was just a lot of fun. And then Tales of Arise is like that's absolutely a gold standard for anime JRPGs, 100%.
Let
There's absolutely none game.
let me ask you this, and this will be my only question about Guardians because I know we've been taking a long time on this, but like, have you found what's his name, Rocket, to be as annoying as I'm finding him so far? Like he's getting to a point where he's like becoming like pretty grating. Like I'm right in the middle of the game now where Star Lord and him are like fucking like arguing like 24/7, and Rocket like leaves the team, and I don't know, man. Like I just find him like I'm to that point where like I don't like I could sympathize with him if I understood where he was coming from, but like I really don't like I think start like with the decisions that I've been making and what we've been doing in the story, like I wholeheartedly like agree and stand by what we have been doing. So like I don't know, I just find his, especially in that mission where you're in Corell's ship and it's just literally him like at your throat like with every fucking line, man, and it's like, okay, I get it, I know you don't want to be here, but like god damn. I don't, like did you have any of that?
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. It was definitely like cuz I know the part where you're at, and the thing is like when I reached that point, I was at that point where I was like, Rocket, you got to shut up, man. You
Yeah.
got to shut up because like you just got to get over it. Um so yeah, I was definitely at that point with him for a little bit. But the thing is like it passes over time, and then like once like you reach a certain point, you're like, okay, everything's good now. But yeah, I
Yeah.
was at the point I was like he doesn't shut up, man.
Okay, cool. And then
So
and then
yeah.
another thing I'll say, because I have been playing it as well, is that like I feel like I complimented this in the last podcast of saying like I love how much like the narrative and how much lines that they've written in this game, but now I'm at the point where I think it might be a little too much that they've written for this game, because like remember last podcast I was like, this is one of those rare games where I actually stop during like a walk or whatever, just so I can hear characters finish their conversation. But then it's like they don't stop talking, so it's like for me, it's like, okay, like I finished listening to one conversation and I want to get on with the game, but then they immediately jump into another conversation. It's like that's not necessarily like a bad thing, because like they always have interesting stuff to say, but then it's like it gets to a point where like, okay, like I do want to like progress. But that's totally like a me thing, right? Because it's not like they're forcing you to stop to listen to every conversation. But it's like when you write so much that is like really interesting, then it's like I don't know. It can kind of get to a point where it feels like a lot. It's totally a me problem, but yeah, that's just something that I've noticed.
No, it's not. It's not. I definitely find that's actually what I wrote in my review for the game, because there was a lot of points where they were talking so much that even though I wanted to progress, like it would cut off what they were saying.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
I would reach like a certain area and they're having a conversation, and maybe I was like half listening to it, but then either way it would still be cut off and they run to something different. So it's absolutely not you, because I definitely included that in my review. I was just like, it's great, but yeah, sometimes they talk like way too much, like
yeah.
to the point
Okay,
where you have to stop like every time, and it's kind of annoying.
yeah. All right, cool. Nice to know. All right. Is that it for the games that you've been playing?
Yeah, more or less. A little bit of Scarlet Nexus here and there, but yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Walt, you want to jump in?
I will slide in. I won't jump in. I'll hurt my knees. So let's see. What have I been doing this week? Been playing games. I'm glad I've been playing games. Well, what games have I been playing? I did cop myself Guardians this week, and because I wanted
Nice.
to join in the excitement. Because here's the thing, man. I was discouraged for the longest time because of Marvel's Avengers, and any video game like any superhero video game that wasn't Spider-Man, I was iffy around because there was something inside of me, a little thorn that was telling me, no, don't. It's not gonna be worth it. It's not gonna be good. I copped it. I'm not too far in. I'm literally like I think I haven't even finished the first segment because it was just recently that I copped it and I started recently. But already from the top, and this is like the first impression that I got, the kind of vibes that this game is going for, the Guardians vibes, it's nailing so far. I am absolutely digging it to 100%. In my mind, the only comparison I ever had was the MCU Guardians, because that's the only exposure I've had to Guardians in my life. And this version of the Guardians, I'm so happy that I'm liking them. It doesn't feel like like many people like to joke around like bootleg MCU whatever. No, the version of Peter, Rocket, Gamora, Drax, and Groot in this game, they're all syncing perfectly with me, and they're all perfectly cohesive so far. I don't know how bad or good the relationship gets, or if there's even a rewarding the fact that you have decisions over some dialogue. I'll see later on. But so far, in terms of the characters, the visuals are they're beautiful, and the combat, I acknowledge that it will take some getting used to. I'm not disliking it. It's a new game, and I'm still getting into okay, how does this work? Okay, how does that work? But not too deep into that, and y'all have sung the praises of it, so I'm excited to get deeper into it. Another game it's been Halo Infinite, my boy. Now listen.
Oh yeah, hold on. I've been playing that.
Now listen, Macho. I know I had to bring it up because I know you've been playing too, and man,
forgot.
I was sent back to high school. I was sent back to the good old days of Walter arriving at 6 to his house, getting ready for the test the next day, but he has to game a little bit with the boys tonight. Bro,
Wait, really quickly, how did sixth grade Walt sound?
Sixth grade.
Do you really want to hear that? Do you really want to hear that?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Bro, not gonna lie, I've always had a somewhat deep voice. Nah, I'm kidding. It was pretty bad. Bro, the level of fun that I've had with this game, it has been insane, unexpected, and this is why. The first time I played Halo was about 3 years ago when I got the Master Chief Collection. And I only got through the first 2 games. I haven't played I play a little bit of Reach, play a little bit of Guardians, Halo 5, but I haven't played through all of them. I loved CE. Combat Evolved was phenomenal. I loved it. Halo 2, I remember enjoying it, but I didn't play anything after that. But bro, Infinite, I didn't even have it in my radar. I didn't even think about downloading the multiplayer beta when not the beta itself, but when they mentioned that it was gonna be segmented. So first we're gonna do multiplayer, then campaign, then we're gonna do all these different things. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah, cool. It's a Halo game. I bet people are gonna be excited, or whatever. Then they shadow dropped this, the beta for this the multiplayer season 1, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll download it, I guess. Oh wait, sure. And I left it downloaded the first day it came out, and I saw Twitter. I saw everyone going crazy over it. I saw Macho singing praises, and I'm like, I think let me give it a shot, bro. When I tell you that I had to put an alarm to remind myself to stop playing. Because if not, I was gonna go to bed at like 4 in the morning. I was having so much fun with this game. The level design, the level of how tight the controls are, the game modes, everything is so slick. It's so nice. It feels so good. It plays so well. What is going on? What?
I would have to concur with you, my man. I would have to. I can't actually slip my mind because that's one of the main topics that I wanted to bring up. I just got so enamored with like with the Hitman talk, and the platinum trophies. But no, I put like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, and Arcane too. I put 6 or 7 hours into the multiplayer so far, and I have to say that this is the most fun I've had with a multiplayer first-person shooter since like if we're gonna compare apples to apples, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. But if we want to compare like apples, but if we were to compare like apples to oranges, then Overwatch, because that's like the fairly most recent. But yeah, this is the most fun I've had with a first-person shooter multiplayer for sure. Like just playing solo, like I'm having a tons of fun.
Yes, that's the thing. I'm playing solo, right? I have a group of friends that they downloaded it and they've been having a blast. But I wanted to give it a shot on my own, get acquainted with because it's been months since maybe a year since I played a first-person shooter on the controller, because I'm playing it on my Xbox, on my Series S, which, by the way, looks incredible. Because that's one thing. My PC, the SSD is malfunctioning, so I'm gonna have to change that. So I haven't been able to use my PC. But I'm glad I have my Xbox, and let me tell you, the Series S, it does wonders to it. If it looks even better on PC, then I'll get to that. But so far, everything, the puddles look beautiful, the shading looks phenomenal, the world, nothing loads up late, everything is there from the top. The level of fun, dude, the last time that I had this much fun, you mentioned Overwatch. For me, it was Destiny 2. And it's because Destiny 2 is the most recent one that I hop back on and off because of the type of game it is for me. It's the type of game I can play for a month straight, and then I won't touch it for like 4 months. But I haven't had this much fun since, I had to concur, man, pure fun since Black Ops 1. And that was at high school. That was back in high school. And it has been, more than 7-8 years since that? My goodness.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm kind of blown away. Like, you guys know me when it comes to military shooters. I'm like, I really don't care. You know, I know Halo's like they're from like a military shooter, but like just playing it feels like it kind of has like the essence of like, you know, boots on the ground, but it's in sci-fi kind of like aesthetic to it. But like, and with that sense though, I definitely get like I'm getting that mix of Overwatch team-based work, but with the frantic and fast paced and stuff like a Call of Duty title, but it feels like it's like a great blend of like the two, like in my head. Like I'm not saying that it's actually what it is, but just more of like this is how I'm making sense of it and why I'm actually liking it. And I just have to say, well, somebody, please, let's team up. I'm tired. These people online, they're making my blood boil, man. They keep running around the ball and oddball, and I'm just like, yo, you're supposed to pick it up. You have to pick up the ball. That's how we get points.
Bro, I was in this match last night. We were losing like 60 to 10. And it was because every time my team would kill the enemy, and I was on the other side of the map trying to get to them, and the ball was around them, they would just look at it and turn around and just keep shooting. I'm like, bro, pick the damn ball. We need the damn points. Oh, man. But, hey, I acknowledge my first match, I was super doo-doo. But then after 4, 5, 6 matches, I was like, all right, I feel like I know what I'm doing. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm just like, I can't go into ranked matches without like a group now.
Hey,
I got a couple of friends
that
at work that I was like, yo, let's download it. We got to play.
We gotta play. We gotta play,
It's a ton
Macho.
of fun, man.
Play.
No, for sure. I'm down. I'm down for it. I think Gene from MotorGame.net is actually down this weekend. Maybe we could link up and do something.
Hey, for sure, bro. Dude,
Yeah, it's good, man. It's
Yeah,
good.
it sounds great. I mean, some of my best or like favorite, memories of gaming in general has been playing like Halo multiplayer.
Halo, yeah.
Yeah, it's always been a great time. But yeah,
It really is, man.
That's good to hear, man.
Yeah, like and I'm blown away because this is like my first introduction to Halo, ever.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
well, kind of, sort of, like the most that I played. Okay, embarrassing story for Macho here. In college, there was this video game tournament, and the end prize was like a PlayStation or Xbox or something like that, and some money. So the way they had these rounds laid out was that each round was different games. So one was like Ultimate. The other was Mario Kart. The other was Halo 3 or something like that. I was like, all right, let's see how it is. Bro, I got destroyed in Halo 3. I got destroyed in Mario Kart, but you know what? I held my own in the fighting game stuff. And in the first level, I think like the last stage they had was like, you had to, whoever did like the first level of Super Mario, not Super Mario, I think it was the original Mario. Whoever did that the fastest won the entire tournament. But yeah, man, so the first time I actually played Halo was in a tournament, and I just got destroyed. I was like, how do you run? You know?
You don't.
Yeah, I was like, you don't run. So it was definitely like a breaking point. But now that I've finally been, officially and rightfully so introduced to Halo, now I see why so many people like love playing it and praise the gameplay.
Dude, I gotta say, you mentioned the run thing. Although I play Combat Evolved and all that, last night, I was in the multiplayer mindset, and I was like, why do I keep crouching? What's the sprint button? Oh, like sprint, bro, sprint. Oh, wait a minute. Like when you pick the oddball, you're slower, and I'm like, wait, jump, get out of here, jump, get out of here, bro. It's so much fun, dude. And let me tell you, this is gonna be my new addiction for multiplayer, I think, for the next few months. And the only thing that's kind of been the struggle for me in terms of progression is the challenge-based leveling up, which is it's been kind of rough for me. I'm not used to it, and it's too slow paced for me. I really appreciate leveling up, level up, like actual XP system, but it is what it is. I think they're addressing some stuff about it. I don't know. It's a fun game regardless.
When the thing first dropped on Monday and Tuesday, all the talk was it's amazing, except for this battle pass and progression system.
Yeah.
Which was like, to me, like I never played a free to play kind of the game serves like this before. So like in my head, I'm like, well, maybe it's just like how it is. I'm not. Maybe it's a slow progression. Maybe people just like it like that. I don't know, but it seemed like it was pretty much consensus that the battle pass was like way too slow, and you could dominate in a match and then come out with like 50 XP because you just played one game.
I saw that. Goddamn.
Yeah, which is like, it's like that's so.
I mean, that's the thing about these free to play, man. They want you to be playing these games forever and ever. So of course they're gonna have it that you barely level up in these games to make you want to play more.
Yeah.
Well, it helps that the gameplay is actually a lot, like the core gameplay is like a lot of fun, because if it wasn't,
really
then I wouldn't I wouldn't care,
Yeah.
But the thing is, it is a lot of fun. So, and they address it like on Wednesday or Thursday, like, yeah, we're gonna change it up, and they actually rolled out the changes starting this week, where like you're gonna get XP for just playing one game, and additional XP for some time there, and then
but it's still only like 50 XP, I think.
Yeah, you don't need a lot to level up so far, like in beginning levels, but I think they do need to buff it up a little bit more to keep that carrot on the stick always there, because if I have to play like 50 matches to get to level 30, then you have games that
have that happy medium with battle passes. You have Apex and Fortnite that they have challenges, but they also have XP driven battle passes. But the battle passes themselves are linked to a certain currency that you can get faster with doing challenges. So it's finding that middle ground and how you want the progression to go, which I guess this is the best way to keep people playing for a long time, but it's the fastest way to get people to get over it as well, if you're not really into the core gameplay, which I don't know how you would, but hey, that's just me. But yeah, that's been mostly me this week. More SMT5, getting my ass kicked. It's hard. It's really hard.
Are you playing on hard?
No. It's just really hard. I have it on normal, and the SMT series has always been infamous for being a very, very hard game. Um, the the monsters are really they hit hard. Man, it's difficult, Macho. It's like a bare bones, really hardcore Pokemon because you can collect monsters essentially, uh, like Persona. But man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it regardless. The world, the level design, the bosses, the music. Oh, the music is so good. Um, I'm really digging it. And, to have a more chill time, more nostalgic old times, I caught Shining Pearl because, of course, why wouldn't I get Pokemon? I get Pokemon every year. Um,
I actually ended up
gonna
getting
be
my fiance like the other version. She had Pearl.
Brilliant
and I
Diamond.
Yeah, she had. I got her Brilliant Diamond. Yeah, and then she had Shining Pearl
Hey,
pre-ordered. So now she
nice,
has the
man.
best of both worlds.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, hey, they're no by no means, revolutionary turn-based games, but it's Pokemon. Just what you know what to expect, so I'm cool with that. But yeah, that's been me. Halo and Guardians and SMT, and man, it's been a good week for gaming. I really enjoyed the games I've been playing, and I'm excited for what's to come later on, especially next year. Next year looks good. But yeah,
Um, all right, man.
yes, sir.
So as for me, so I finished Kena Bridge of Spirits. Uh,
Cool, cool.
Nice.
yeah. That was that last boss, man. It. I don't know. I'm of two minds. Like, he's tough, but at the same time, like, I didn't die as many times to him as I did to the boss before him. So I think I described it to you guys last time as like in terms of scale. Imagine that last dragon that you fight in the Dark Souls 3 DLC.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's like that big, and he has fucking arena, in one stride, like arena crossing, mobility. Like he can get to the other side of the arena in like a snap of a finger, and he has grab attacks that like fucking can reach out to like the other side of the arena as well. But what makes him specifically tough is that this is like a multi-staged fight, but not in the sense of like he has like multiple phases, but like in terms of like, okay, so you whittle down his health to a quarter, and then immediately you get sent into a combat section. And that combat section has a mini boss in it. After you finish that combat section, there's like a little platforming segment. And after you finish that platforming segment, then you move back to the main boss, and then you whittle down its health another quarter, and then actually, I think once you whittle it down to that second quarter, you move into like the platforming segment. The thing that makes this difficult is that if you die in any of these little extra segments, you move all the way, like obviously, right? You move back to the beginning of the boss fight. You had to do everything from the start. So
Wow.
yeah, it sounds bullshit because it is, right? Um,
Hey, that's PS2, man. That's PS2 days.
oh, for real, man, for
You
real.
live in nostalgia. Right
Yeah, man.
Nostalgia. Trauma.
So yeah, that was cruel. That was definitely cruel. But once
now.
you
He does
what?
cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah, man. But once you actually get like the hang of like, okay, how to dodge these attacks. I was never good with like parrying, so like that did me no
Oh.
favors. But I learned the timing of like just jumping over the boss's attacks, and that sufficed. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, he was tough. Not as bad as the boss before him. The boss before him was like really really tough. Like I actually needed to learn how to parry for him specifically, because I feel like you won't beat him otherwise. But yeah, Kena was great, man. It was a really fun time. Some of the toughest, probably one of the toughest games I played this year, without a doubt. Yeah, which is nuts.
Harder than
Yeah.
Returnal, huh?
Honestly, if you look
Yeah,
at
did you die more than Returnal?
100%, yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
Wow.
I died to some bosses killed me more times than the entirety of Returnal.
Wow.
Yeah.
This man, you should put down your resume, my boy.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
Jade's is taking down his plaque in his room.
Hey man, hey man, that's nothing. Hey, that's nothing to be ashamed of, man. That's a tough game. That's a tough ass game, man. Don't let Kana and the little rot's cuteness fool you, man. That's a tough ass game. But yeah, man. So I finished Kana. Put like another few hours in the Guardians. I'm
Nice.
I think in like the middle of the game now. Still really enjoying it. I've been playing. I jumped back into the Dragon's Dogma, as you can see on the stream right now. Really enjoying it. Once I actually figured out like how to progress the main story, because I think that's why I jumped off like for like the past month. It's just like I couldn't figure out like what to do next. Because
Progress.
this game is like pretty obscure at times. But there was, listen to this. There was this one side quest, man, that had me really messed up, man. So like there's this, obviously there's like this main kingdom that you'll go to a lot to, you know, take on quests and whatnot. And there's like this little, I think she's like a princess, or she may be like the wife to like the duke in this kingdom. And bro, she had her handmaiden talk to me in the middle, like in a secret location at night, and she was like, my lady really wishes to speak to you. Now look, I know how weird this looks, right? To have you go to her bed chambers at midnight, right? A lot of people are probably gonna get the wrong idea, but she just really needs to talk to you without anyone knowing, right? And I'm like, okay. So
Hey, yo.
I sneak up to like her tower in the middle of the night, which I use sneak in quotations because like literally everyone in the castle saw me doing it. Um, so I went up there, and it's like thundering and shit. And she like runs over to me and she's like, "Oh my God, it's finally you. You heed my call. I needed to confess my love to you."
I love those impressions of this lady here.
The whole theater.
Yeah, she's like, I need to confess my love to you. And then we hear the Duke, and he has like a little fucking hobbit like jester with him at all times. So both, we could hear them literally like walking to the door, and she's like, "Oh crap, okay, you hide behind my wardrobe." So I'm like, okay, so I run over to the wardrobe, and the Duke comes in, and this is like 2012 graphics, so like none of this looks good. So he comes into the room. The jester waits outside, and he's like making these jokes about like, "Oh, you have some royal activities to attend to. Okay, I'll leave you to it." So then he goes and waits outside the door, and then the Duke just like angrily like looks at her, and he puts like his hands like around her neck, not in the good way, and he's like
Oh.
he's like possessed by something, and he starts like strangling her on the bed. And you have a choice, like, do I intervene, do I let it happen? Obviously, you know, I intervene. And
Oh,
this is
what a great
this is
man.
what happened. He was possessed. It wasn't his fault.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay, I was worried.
there's
I
a
was
lot
worried.
there's a lot of layers to this. So yeah. So then he like once he sees me, he stops doing what he's doing, and he's like crying and calling out like his old wife's name or some shit like that. And then all of a sudden, because right, it looks weird that I'm in here in the first place. The Duke obviously has this confused look, and then this fucking princess or a wife to the Duke, whatever her name or whatever she is, she's like, she stole into my room at night. You know, she's not supposed to be here. She like fucking like betrays me, and she's like, she's a thief or a murderer, and she snuck in here. I don't know what she's doing in here. And so that my character, because like my character, she doesn't talk at all, so she just has like this dumb expression on her face, like what? Like I don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, and then I basically get arrested, thrown into like the dungeons, and get like whipped for this.
Hey, yo.
Right, and then like I have to break out of the dungeon. Like she actually comes in, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, like if you know, if he would have known that I invited you over, then you know, I was afraid for my life." So she gets the keys and she breaks me out and yada yada yada. But yeah, this was just like a single side quest, and it's like these moments.
Bro.
Yeah, it's like these moments are like really really fucking cool in this game, man. Um, but yeah,
Damn.
I'm really enjoying this game.
A part of you was like, man, I should have just let you choke her. I should
Hey,
have just let
hey,
you
man.
choke her.
Hey man, maybe. Um, but yeah, man, there's a bunch of there's a lot of like intricate like side quests in this game, and it's crazy that like this came out a year after Skyrim, this came out 3 years before The Witcher 3, and it's in that kind of like middle spot of like, in my opinion, having more intricate quests than Skyrim. Some of them narratively a little bit more interesting, but at the same time, still not having that like quality of writing that The Witcher had. So yeah, I don't know. It's a really interesting little like time capsule of a game. Um,
It's from
yeah,
Capcom too, surprising.
yeah, dude. It's really interesting. So yeah, I think I'm about to move into like maybe like the second act of this game because I'm about to leave. It gives when in games they're like, hey, if you have anything left to do, go ahead and do them because you're about to move into the next major part of the story. So yeah, I'm about to head to like another territory, I think. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So yeah, that's Dragon's
Nice.
Dogma. The main game I wanted to talk about was this game. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It's called The Forgotten City.
I have, yeah, that's been on my wish list for a long time.
Yeah, so to kind of give you guys like the rundown in
Is that the
terms of like,
Cthulhu one?
no, this is the one that was like a Skyrim mod, and it was like branched off, and now it's made its like its own game. Have you heard about that?
Okay.
Um,
I don't think so.
It's I think it's like set in like Rome or something like that, right, Jay?
Right. So this
Yeah.
this is sort of like the broad like synopsis is that okay, it begins with like you're like you wake up from like being washed down this river and you get rescued by a stranger, and the stranger is basically like hey, my brother disappeared in this cavern, can you go look for him? So you go and do it, and as you go looking into exploring the cavern, you find this like old Roman city that's been like collapsed and destroyed inside this cave. Um, so you actually go inside this city and you find a portal inside of it that transports you back to the time when the city was like at its peak, right? So back to like, I don't know, like fucking 800 BC or whatever, the time of like the Roman Empire. So you travel back to that point in time, and basically like as the plot progresses and you keep exploring, you find out that this city, it has like 23 strangers in this city that have all similarly to you just randomly discovered this city. But you find out that this city is governed by a law, like one law only, and I forget the specific quote of the law, but the law is essentially that if anyone is to commit a sin within this city, all citizens of the city is going to be equally punished. Um, and it's like it's some godly shenanigans that have like put down this law in the city, but it's like it's in plaques all around the place. It's like really hammered into your head that like if anyone commits a, everyone's essentially going to die. There's a bunch of like gold statues within the city as well that like if someone does commit a sin, the gold statues come to life and start killing everybody. The cool mechanic about this game is that there's a time loop thing about it. So like if a sin is committed and the statues do come to life, you have to hop into the portal and restart the day over again. Basically the big mystery of this game is finding out like who commits the sin, how does the city get destroyed, and preventing that from happening, right? What's really cool is that like okay, if because it's basically the gameplay of this game is just talking to people. Light exploration, there's a little bit of combat, but not really. The main point about this game is just talking to people, learning about them, what motivates them, helping out people, etc., etc. the really cool thing is that like, okay, if I lie to this character, you don't necessarily know what constitutes a sin in this game, right? Because it's very, I don't want to say like loose, because there's like some very strict and like hard like, definitions. Like obviously if you kill someone in this game, then bam, the law will be broken and everyone's gonna die. But then there's some loopholes, right? Because there's this one guy that
Loopholes.
yeah. There's this one guy that I was talking to. He's kind of like a kind of an asshole in the game, but he's like, "Hey man, there's this special golden bow that we should totally like steal." And it's in this temple, and so I go inside the temple, and I replace my wooden bow with the golden bow that's inside the temple, and he basically locks you inside and is like, okay, now you gotta slip the bow under the door so I can take it. I'll unlock the door if you give me the bow, basically. And like obviously, in my conversation I was like, that's totally a lie. Like he basically like manipulated me to get me into this temple to to steal this bow or whatever. But like the way that he said it avoided actually breaking the law. Like it was technically a lie with the way that he said it. There's another character in this game who you have to prevent him from killing himself. The first day that you're there, he actually ends up killing himself. But the more times that you kind of restart the day, you figure out the pieces required to actually save his life. But the first time that he actually manages to kill himself, that's not considered a sin. Otherwise, everyone would have died. So there's obviously some like loopholes, some like ways that you can sort of like skirt around the law. But yeah, that's sort of like the main like crux of this thing, and it's very like, to me, like I remember I was talking to you guys about Dark. It's very reminiscent in the fact of like, okay, this is a very small community of people, right? There's only like 20 characters in the entire game that makes up this city, and you get to know each and every single one of them, and they're all connected in some way. There's like this political sort of like election that's going on in the city between these two guys, and you can actually get one of them to drop out of the election by like talking to his wife and blackmailing the guy. There's an assassin that stumbles into the city, who's planning to kill the guy who's running in the election, but you can actually wind up killing this assassin by like manipulating him to go into this little shrine that's going to collapse in a few moments. So like basically the main thing about this game that's really cool is like utilizing things from happening in future runs. And it's so cool because it's like you've obviously talked to like a lot of these characters, and like once you just restart a day, it's like you're meeting them for the first time again. But like it will be like yeah, you're talking to them for the first time, and then you're equipped with knowledge of things that happened before. So you're like, hey, dude, like I already talked to you. You need to get this medicine over to this girl Lulia because she's about to die. So I need you to run over to her and go save her life. And he's like, how do you know all of this? And I'm just like, don't worry about it. Just go, hurry up, go do it. And yeah, this game is like littered with like a bunch of those moments like that. And yeah, it's just a really, really interesting time loop game, and yeah, it's just really, really interesting, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Sounds
I know
interesting.
it's on sale right now. I think it's like $24 or whatever, and I think it's actually on Game Pass too. So like I've been wanting to
Oh,
give
is
it a
it?
shot. Yeah, I've been wanting to give it a shot, but like I've just been playing other stuff and trying to like get everything down before Endwalker comes out. As far as the backlog, but yeah, from what I've heard, even Mo played this before, and he said that he loves it.
Yeah.
So from what I hear, it's like a great time loop game that like definitely encourages like different avenues of play. So
Oh,
a
for
little
sure.
bit like Hitman, where like you're just coming back to the same thing and doing new things and trying out new ideas and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. And like every character in the game, like they have a really, really strong background story, and like argument as to like their beliefs and like how like what they specifically believe in with the law and how they interpret that. and that complicates decisions because like these characters are so morally gray, and there's a little bit of wiggle room with like not everyone is like specifically like good or evil. Like there's definitely a lot of wiggle room with them. There's like this one character who manipulate, and like the thing about this city is that no one can escape either, which is also like a thing that's like really crazy about it. There's this one tavern owner who's like really fucked up, who like manipulated this one girl into thinking that she had like an escape plan, and she ends up like drugging her or something like that, and putting her in debt, and that girl ends up being like depressed, it's every character is just like really fascinating, and they have their own things going on, and it's really cool, man. It's a really cool game.
The way you're portraying it sure sounds more interesting than Deathloop in terms of. It sounds.
I'll say in Deathloop's defense, the combat is like a million times better.
So if you put Deathloop's combat and the story in Forgotten City, you got a good game there.
I mean, I think Forgotten City is a good game by itself, but yeah, I guess so.
That's good. I mean, hey, I'm glad to always find out about games that I haven't heard of and to give it a shot because this sounds fantastic. I'm more, hey, combat can be shit, but if you got a good story, I'm down.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, so I think this would be like a great like kind of weekend game to get into because it's such like it's so intense with the story.
100%.
I think the PS5 is weird because it said that I only played for 2 hours last night, but I feel like I played for like 6 hours straight, man. Like I could have put down the controller like once I started, which
I'm not sure how accurate that timer is sometimes, man.
Yeah.
Because the in-game timer would be different from like the actual PSN timer. I'm just like I don't know if that's right.
But I think it's time spent in the application.
Probably.
I don't know. But yeah, man, it's a really cool game. I can't recommend it enough. Cool. It's made by a small indie team, so obviously like the facial animations, it's a shame that the facial animations are so bad and the faces look so bad because that's literally 90% of the game is looking at people's faces and talking to people. So it really highlights that. Which sucks. Like most of the time I feel like I would give them a pass. It's only like a 3-man team, so like I would be like, you know what, it's whatever. I don't care that much. But the fact that you are spending so much time looking at people, it does kind of put a highlight on it more than it should, I guess. Yeah, man, that's pretty much it for Forgotten City.
Man. Cool.
I think I'll probably have it finished by next podcast because it's not that long of a game, so I'll talk about it more then. But yeah, it's really great.
Awesome.
Nice. I'll keep it on my wish list. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Same.
So that's it for the games that I've been playing. So let us move into the Game Awards. Let's talk about that. All right. So. When was it? It was Tuesday that the nominees came out?
I think so.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
Okay.
Same day that Halo Infinite Shadow dropped, the multiplayer.
Okay. So so the nominations for the Game Awards 2021 dropped.
Yep.
And they were quite controversial to say the least. I know I definitely have my issues with them. More so than I feel like any other year. So yeah, we're gonna go through, I feel like, the important categories, and then we will give our thoughts on each one. So I'm scrolling past the esports stuff.
Yeah, I would say don't do esports or anything like that.
I'm scrolling
we have no opinion on that.
Scrolling past content creator of the year.
Man, that's.
Yeah, I bet y'all good, but we ain't gonna do you justice.
So let's most anticipated. We got Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which is insane, man.
They don't have a title, man. You have a fucking title.
Why?
Hey, man. Hey, We said how the name, the comparison to the first one is like a meme at this point, dude. You're gonna have that as most anticipated, even if it doesn't even have a title. We saw
Who,
some
me?
gameplay this year, a very minor.
It was dumb. It doesn't even have a working title. It doesn't even have an official title yet.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
I
that's
digress.
why I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't come out next year.
It won't.
Jeez.
It won't. I
Um,
mean, this is Cap. This is a Cap nomination, but like it is
But
what it is.
okay, so then Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and then Starfield. So what about give me a ranking. How would you guys rank out of these five? Like yeah, give me a ranking in terms of like your personal most anticipated.
Elden Ring.
Number one?
Yeah, I chose Elden Ring as number one. Yeah.
Elden Ring is number 1, 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
God of War is number 2.
I agree.
Number 3 is Horizon.
Yep.
Number 4, because it's there, Breath of the Wild. And number 5, Starfield. Because here's the thing, man. I'm more familiar with Breath of the Wild. I don't know what Starfield's gonna be. It looks promising. I'm hearing it's gonna be great, but Starfield's at the bottom just because of unknown factor. I don't know about Macho though.
I think I think par for par. Yeah, I think it's the same kind of ranking for me, honestly. Mostly because Elden Ring, obviously, we've seen more of it recently, and it honestly looks like the game that I've always wanted from the studio.
100%.
So there's that. Obviously, God of War Ragnarok because the first one, the 2018 one, it's so good,
Gotcha.
and it's just absolutely gonna like elevate everything, especially since the title being what it is. And then Horizon Forbidden West just speaks for itself. The animation looks, oh my god, the animation in Horizon Forbidden West looks absolutely stunning. So,
100%.
and the rest kind of fall into we don't really know a lot territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess just by the fact that I don't have a Switch, I guess Zelda would be number 5. Starfield would be number 4. I think Elden Ring would be number 3, and then Horizon and God of War. But I could honestly interchange both of those. I think.
Yeah. As long as those 3 stay in the top 3, we're good.
Dude, did a dragon just fucking come here?
Yeah, and the Dogma.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that would be how I would rank those. Okay. So let us next category: best multiplayer, best sim strategy, best sports racing. Do you guys want to talk about best family? That's like the Nintendo category every year.
I would say that it belongs to Take-Two.
Okay.
It's not gonna win that award, but it belongs to Take-Two.
Best
It Takes
family
Two.
game. I'm gonna be honest. It's either It Takes Two looks like it's gonna win, and it should. But I'm the only Nintendo game that should be up there. That is, sorry, that's the only one, because it's the definition of a family game. Literally word for word, but that's it. WarioWare, it's WarioWare, whatever. Super Mario 3 World, it's Nintendo, so It Takes Two definitely is the standout there. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's some fucked up shit in It Takes Two though, so I don't know how much of a family game it really is.
Oh man, it touched on some family stuff, so.
It does, but man, there's a couple of moments in that game that just me and my fiance just
Really?
question our lives 100%.
Damn.
So then let's move on to best RPG.
Yeah, yeah.
The nominees are Tales of Arise, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Scarlet Nexus, Monster Hunter Rise, and Cyberpunk 2077. Which this is my thing, is that like people don't want this in here, because of everything that happened and how it launched and blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
I don't care about that. My problem is that Cyberpunk 2077 is not an RPG, man. It is not. It's like Skyrim in the sense of like it is an action adventure game with RPG elements, but it is not an RPG, man. So that's my biggest problem. It's like, okay, so we're just giving games with like that's like saying Horizon's an RPG, man. That game is an action adventure with RPG, like light RPG elements.
I would say Cyberpunk is more of an RPG than Horizon is
For sure.
The fact At
Sure.
least for the fact that in Cyberpunk, you have the versatility to a point where you can justify it being an RPG, especially with a skill tree and the different paths that, quote unquote, change the way you play it. It doesn't your background doesn't mean shit.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the different ways that you can interact and evolve V, definitely falls into RPG territory. But when you compare it to the rest of the games, I would say Scarlet Nexus is less of an RPG than Cyberpunk. I don't know, but that's just me. It's Scarlet Nexus, it's more predetermined in how you play the game and how the story unfolds more than so with Cyberpunk. I don't know.
I think
That was-
because I think we'll probably have the conversation like what constitutes an RPG then because in that sense, well, I think. And for someone that's put like nearly 30 hours into Scarlet Nexus, I would have to concur that it's like it's less RPG. You have a skill tree, and it falls more into the range of action JRPG, but I feel like the term RPG just gets overused sometimes.
It does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
But I agree,
I would kind of have to agree with you. Like it's more action adventure with a skill tree, and then like you get to like obviously you could fill out your equipment like slots for your character stuff like that. But you're not like making like any like grand decisions or anything like that or shaping the narrative. It's pretty linear.
It's
100%.
as RPG as like Mass Effect 2 and Mass Effect 3, where Mass Effect 1 was without a doubt, like a hardcore sort of traditional RPG, and then Mass Effect 2 and 3 became more action oriented, and I feel like that's definitely what Cyberpunk 2077 moved towards.
But I agree, Jay. In terms of the amount of freedom the Cyberpunk gives, and when we describe RPG, it gets the term gets muddy. But I agree with the points that you're making because I do see what you mean. Seeing it on this list, it's my big thing with it being on this list is it's the fact that I feel like that was just to cover that slot. Like Cyberpunk was put there because there was no other maybe contender.
In there instead of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
And
point.
that's going to
Exactly.
we'll talk about later, but that extends to my biggest problem with this thing. All right, so
Yeah.
what would you, out of those nominees, what would you guys say takes it?
Well, as someone that's played at least like what 2 of the 5 that are in there. I did not play Cyberpunk. I did not play Shin Megami Tensei. And what was the other one that was in there?
Monster Hunter
Tales.
Rise.
Monster Hunter Rise.
Monster.
I did not play Monster Hunter Rise. Yes, I hear a lot of people say that that's a really great one. But I mean, if I were to vote for that one, I would choose Tales of Arise, and that's mainly because I really do see that as like the gold standard for anime JRPGs from here on out.
Yeah.
Like how I see Final Fantasy VII Remake as a gold standard for like mainstream JRPGs as far as when it comes to just gameplay pacing, level design, music, voice acting, the whole 9 yards. Right, it's all there. And the only reason why I would choose that over Scarlet Nexus in this case, because Scarlet Nexus I love it. I think it's a fantastic game, and it definitely should be on everyone's must-play list if you're into action adventure Japanese games. But what makes it kind of just a little less for me in terms of what the game is compared to Tales of Rise is the story. I would say the story gets a little muddied and it gets a little too lost in like its own rules and its own terms and world that it's a little hard to follow. And I'm playing through Yuito's story right now, who's the other main character, and I'm still following along and it's filling in holes that the Kasane's story had. But still, I can imagine someone that playing Yuito's story first, it'll just be so like all over the place. It'll feel like. So it's not very clean when it comes to the storytelling department. But other than that, it's still like it's one of my favorite games from this year for sure. Just for like the music and the combat, the characters are great. The new DLC that just came out that adds like a bunch of new content to it where you get to actually spend more time with these characters. I love it. I think it's fantastic. So I think it's more than deserving of a nomination for sure. Just Tales of Rise that takes it over a little bit for me.
I hope that I hope it wins. Just for the plain fact that Well, to be honest, I would be okay with any of these games aside from Cyberpunk winning. I would want a JRPG to win.
Same, yeah. Like if any of them won, I wouldn't be upset. Like of whichever one, as long as it's not Cyberpunk, because I feel like that sets such a bad precedent for at least for like games in a sense. Like the
Yes.
one that released broken, the one that's didn't really live up to promises, and one that some outlets claim as one of the best games ever made, but it's what it is. But
And I think if for some reason Cyberpunk ends up winning, I feel like that's a disrespectful move towards the other games that at launch were much more finished and showed a refinement that Cyberpunk didn't. Well, that just says that in the future you can release a broken ass fucking game and it can still win an award because you fixed it with a few patches afterwards. Mind you, I'm not discrediting the effort that these people are, because it's not their fault. It's more of the executive branch that I have a problem with. But when it comes to the standard of an RPG then for future generations and future awards, then what are we saying? We're saying you can, yeah, just release whatever, but fix it. Probably get an award. No, I don't like that shit.
yeah, and I feel like it also just it'll funnel into like kind of the stereotype of American video gamers too, where they prefer the first person shooters and the whole nine yards, which obviously it's not true, but like when we have people like Hideo Kojima saying like, yeah, American gamers just love their first person shooters, and he's not wrong, but like at the same time, it's like that's a stereotype that we're trying to break, man.
Yeah, we don't want to confirm it.
Yeah, I mean we confirm it every day, man. To be honest.
Oh well. I don't know about y'all. I'm Boricua. I'm stay over here on my little island. I don't know about the U.S.
Okay, so best action adventure. We have Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Resident Evil Village.
I think that for the description for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, I really think that either Metroid or Ratchet in my case. But I haven't played Psychonauts, mind you. I've played everything else here. I haven't played Marvel Guardians much, but I haven't played Psychonauts. But I think that what I've played, either Ratchet or Metroid deserve this award. I don't know. I don't know which one to give. I feel like Ratchet would, because it's much more accessible, much more like it's a type of game that people can jump in and eat more easy than Metroid. Metroid's I don't know, the type of like Metroidvania approach is not the cup of tea for everyone.
Macho,
That's just me.
would you, I feel like you would lean towards Metroid. I feel personally,
It's a tough one.
I feel like that's what would take it.
I don't think you're wrong, honestly. It's a tough one though, because the thing is, I'm gonna knock off Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
I'm gonna knock off Psychonauts 2, because while it's good, it's I don't think it's better than the other games that are on the list. I don't even knock off Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I would have to give it to Resident Evil Village, honestly, for myself. Because when I go back into that game and rethinking of like kind of all the puzzle solving, how everything just really was like such a perfect fit when I was playing through that game the first, second, and third time, it was the most fun I've had. Metroid I haven't really gone back to since I finished it. Well, I loved it, and I think traversal is amazing, and the bosses are awesome. I think not Ratchet and Clank. I think Resident Evil Village was like something that I wasn't expecting to be so polished and so fun to play over and over again.
Are we saying the ones that we want to win or that we think will win?
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of the ones that I think will win just for the sheer fact that of the type of game it is. Because in my case, out of all these games, there's only one game that I put more hours than the rest, and that is the one Macho just mentioned. There's no game I played more this year.
Then
if there was a game like if we were talking about what game we think are gonna win, I think that Metroid Dread's gonna win. But for personally, I would choose Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, I agree. What were you, Jay?
I don't. I mean, I think Metroid will win. And
Good.
in terms of want, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want none of these games to win.
I ain't want nothing.
Well, what game would you choose to win for like
Yeah.
personal
I
that you
don't,
played?
I don't know. Like, to be honest, like none of these I really like speak like Guardians. Like, obviously, I love that game, but like, I have problems with like the quote, like the action in the gameplay in that game. Um, Ratchet's gunplay is cool. But like in terms of like the adventure, I really didn't like most of the planets that you're like exploring, especially after playing Guardians of the Galaxy. Like looking at those planets and the locations that you visit, man. Like I wish Ratchet really had the opportunity to go like that, like balls to the walls, just like insane with its, like planet design and stuff like that. So like that game really fell short for me in terms of that. Obviously I didn't play Psychonauts, I didn't play RE. Um, I don't know. If I had to lean one way, I guess I would choose Guardians of the Galaxy just because it in terms of like the adventure aspect, it feels more so of like an adventure than um anything else I played.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
hundred
chapter are
percent.
you on actually? Now that we're kind of touching that.
I think six.
Oh yeah, you still got some ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so best action is Back for Blood, Chivalry 2, Deathloop, Far Cry 6, and Returnal. Um, so from this list, I played Chivalry 2, Deathloop, and Returnal. I would choose Returnal, and I think Returnal would win. Like
Out of.
Chivalry 2 is awesome with its combat. Like it's
Hmm.
it's really fucking good. But Returnal is like sublime to play, man.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I haven't played any of the other games on this list, to be honest, except for Returnal. But from like, yeah, I think just as far as the gameplay standpoint, yeah, it's really top notch.
I agree. The only two I've played here, ironic, is Returnal, and more infamously, if the only one was Far Cry 6, which we know what it is.
Oh yeah,
That's
he
no.
did. He did start playing that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah, and
happened?
Yeah.
no,
Well,
I still jump in here and there. I'm not hating it. I know what it is. It's Far Cry. I didn't go in expecting fucking prime A steak. Um, it's fine. I mean, I don't think it's gonna win. If it wins, then we know why, because it's Far Cry. That's because of the name. Again, it doesn't. It's not a bad game. Again, it's just Far Cry. That's the thing. Let's not mistake it with being a shit game. It's more so it's the same thing that we've had the last couple of years with Far Cry. But from this list, 100% Returnal. I haven't played the other ones, but I don't see myself voting for those over Returnal, even if I played them. That's knowing myself. Back for Blood, first person zombie shooter. I hear it's great. Chivalry, I've heard you sing his praises and hear it's good. Deathloop, Far Cry 6,
Oh man.
Returnal. Returnal. Hey man. Hey man. Hey
Um,
man. God.
Man, nothing
You
less to
know.
say about it. Okay. But yeah. Okay. So that is Macho.
Best
You said
action.
you said the same thing.
yeah, Returnal.
Okay. Cool. Um, we can skip best VR. We can skip best mobile. We can skip best.
Best
Well,
VR,
actually, I was.
just because. Resident Evil 4, just because,
Yeah.
just because.
I was about to skip best community, but Macho, why don't you take it away?
Yes, sir.
Ooh,
Yes, sir. Just like,
hey,
in case you haven't heard, there's a critically acclaimed MMORPG, Final Fantasy 14, that's being voted for with Best Community Game and for another nomination I'm about to go through. Yeah, absolutely. Just choose that one. All 22 million players need you to get on that and vote for Final Fantasy 14.
I would be shocked if
'Cause,
that
yeah.
didn't win.
For
yeah,
Best Community, right?
Yeah.
Um,
especially especially that game.
yeah, again, yeah, honestly, I would be surprised if it didn't win also, but we all know that the Game Awards really do have a weird spot when it comes to JRPGs, let alone
Yeah.
MMOs. So if I were to really think like what would win, it would have to be either Fortnite or No Man's Sky. But obviously, in my hearts of hearts, it would be Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, games for impact we can skip. Best performance. Walt may be able to talk about this a little bit more. So Erica Mori as Alex Chen from Life is Strange: True Colors. Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo from Far Cry 6. Jason E. Kelly as Colt Vaughn from Deathloop. Maggie Robertson as Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil Village. And
I chose her.
Ozzy Oma. I don't even. I gave up. Juliana Blake from Deathloop.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I know why. I know what I said. Oh shit.
See, that's exactly why I gave up, man. I didn't want to sound like an idiot. But yeah,
Okay.
you got. I mean, obviously, you guys would pick Lady Dimitrescu, right?
Yeah, and this is
It's
why
only because I only have that's like my only frame of reference for performance
And-
this year.
Jason and Osioama. I
Yeah,
haven't.
they're great. They're probably the best.
They're great.
To me, they're probably the best parts of that game.
Okay, great. They're contenders. Giancarlo Esposito, you mentioned he plays pretty much what he plays well, and he plays it in everything he's in. So I don't think you can go wrong there because he is a great performer. Eric Omori, out of all the Life is Strange's, this is definitely I've been because I haven't copped it. I've been looking at a stream, someone stream it, and Eric Omori. Let me tell you, that's. I feel it when I see that game and I see the scenes unveil and I see the moments really hit. She can really bring it during an emotional and beautiful scenes. To be honest, in this case, if you say Deathloop, they're both great. Maggie Robertson, I think she was phenomenal. Any of these can honestly win, and I wouldn't bet an eye.
Yeah, I kind of really wish though that Erica Lynn back from Tales of Arise as Shion. I wish she was
Shion,
nominated.
Nah, no one, none of these judges played Tails, man. So of course,
I know.
of course.
I know. But yeah, she's so good in it, man.
And
she
honestly,
definitely deserves a nom.
Man, I can't be blanking out her name. The one that plays Celine. On Returnal. Does she have any moments in the story that really stand out?
I mean,
I know that in terms of voice acting, she's a great performer, but does she stand out as much?
I mean, she's good, but the only thing I would say is that there's just not much, of
To go from?
of her in the game. There's not much, in terms of like story, I guess I should say.
Gotcha.
Or cutscenes. There's some short little bits, but nothing to really like allow her performance to like really breathe or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's what I would say.
I'm surprised that no one from Guardians is there, because I know that they're all.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
They're all
point. Actually,
great.
good point. Yeah, especially Peter Quill. He was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like. I think Lady Dimitrescu is gonna win, and even
Yeah,
though
she started a movement, man. She started a movement.
yeah. Even though I haven't played Life is Strange: True Colors, I kind of want Alex Mori or Erica Mori, who plays Alex Chen, to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
so
a great one to win. Honestly, she does phenomenal in that game.
that would be cool.
Yeah, no matter what
yeah.
about the Live is Strange games, there's always passion from the performances. So
Truly.
Yeah.
it's worthy for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So best audio design, we have Deathloop, Forza Horizon 5, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil Village, and Returnal. I think
It's a tough
Forza is gonna win, but I want Returnal to win.
Audio design?
Yeah.
I would.
I was gonna say Resident Evil.
I was gonna say Returnal, but thinking on Ratchet and Clank and what it did with the DualSense was
true.
incredible. Like it bridged not bridged the gap. Yeah, right. Yeah, it bridged the gap between player and the screen when it came to like the guns and everything, and just really being enveloped inside that adventure.
Was it more memorable than Returnal's use of the DualSense?
Yeah.
Interesting.
For me personally, because I think what Returnal did like phenomenally, right? And again, it's not to say like one's like bad and one's good. It's more just like Returnal's in-game audio design was absolute game experience, and like when I'm holding the control in my hand, when I'm enveloped in the adventure of Ratchet and Clank, I keep thinking about like how like the different sounds and identities that the game had.
You know what? I think
it's totally personal for me though.
Walt, do you have an opinion on this?
Honestly, and this is because of one level. In terms of DualSense and the audio design, we're talking about the audio design specifically for these games, correct? I keep going back to Beneviento House in Resident Evil, and just how
I did think about that too.
How much that level really made the audio design in that game stand out that much more, because it's a level that's purely based on audio cues and things in the environment shifting and whatnot. But man, Ratchet and Clank, in terms of the DualSense and what it did and the audio design there, phenomenal work. I haven't played Forza Horizon 5. If you say it might win, I can definitely see why. I don't know about Deathloop. I don't know if it stands out, Jay.
I don't think Forza Horizon really win that one though.
No,
I don't think it will.
But
okay, I heard that it was good. You don't think it would?
I mean, no, it's great. Like I said, all these are deserve of a nomination, but I don't think it's like it's not like when I think of Forza 5, I don't think of like how great the cars sound or like of how like immersive it like that would bring me into it. I think of more of just like it looks really good and it's fun.
The beeps and the boops.
Yeah. But to that point though, I think like it does have great audio design because it's something you don't notice, and that in itself can like be a compliment too, because when something's really good, we have a tendency to like not even think about it.
Yeah. What I will say about Returnal, and I think so. Like I said that I want Returnal to win, and I think Forza is going to win. I'm going to change it to both. I want and think that Returnal is going to win. There's this one that I'm just remembering right now. Actually, two things I'm remembering right now, and I was trying to find it on my phone so I could play it, but I'm not gonna do it. But so one of the very first rooms that you enter in Returnal, I don't know if you guys remember, it's that room with like the giant like morphing ball in the center of the room. I want you guys to remember how that thing sounded when you shot it, or when you were just in the room and you're listening to that thing like morph and the weird like sort of disgusting like writhing sounds that it was making. Especially
that's the first thing I thought of, really.
Right? And I remember like this game was pegged as like you need to play this game with headphones, and I remember like that thing is like the reason why you do it, man. That thing sounds incredible in headphones.
It's straight out of Annihilation. In Annihilation, have you seen the movie Soul?
No, I've been meaning to, but no, I know what you mean.
There's the audio design in that movie. Returnal transports you to a sci-fi setting with all these sounds and all this level design, and it's because it's so alien sounding and it's so disturbing but so intriguing. And honestly, it's moments like that specific section in Returnal and moments like the Beneviento that I'm torn between Resident Evil and Returnal in terms of the audio design. But that's me because of the experience I had with both.
And then I want you guys to also remember in Returnal, the fourth boss, the one that we talked about a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the best ones in the entire game.
Yes, when you're climbing that gradual crawl to the top of the tower, and you hear like in the ambient sort of background that organ song playing, getting louder and louder and louder, the sort of the higher that you've reached the tower or whatever. And then once you actually make it to the peak, you see, Hyperion playing the organ, and that song playing in the background as you're actually fighting that boss. Man, it's Returnal. It's got to be Returnal.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
it's got to be Returnal.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it has a tremendous amount of great gameplay moments for sure when it comes to its audio design.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still
Um,
think for me, Ratchet and Clank would definitely still have to be it for me.
Fair. Okay, so continuing this trend of audio, we have best score music, Cyberpunk 2077, Deathloop,
Nope.
Near Replicant, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and The Artful Escape.
It has to be Near Replicant.
100%.
I've heard
100%.
I don't doubt that it's good, but I've heard that it isn't as good as Automata's.
It's gonna be hard to top Automata's, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Automata as a
really
game is hard to
top
top off.
Automata. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my thing, without even hearing like a single song from it, if I had to guess, since just based off of like that sentiment that I've heard, that like if I had to guess, it's like Nier Automata is like a 10 out of 10, and Replicant is like a 9.5 with like its music. Like even though people are saying that it's not as good as Automata's, it's still blowing like other scores and soundtracks out of the water.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, it's something
comparing.
you still get a vinyl for it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like comparing Attack on Titan by which studio versus Mappa. That it's like it's not the same, but it's like point 0.5 points lower. It's still amazing. It still blows so many anime out of the water. So you can't really go wrong. And Near Replicant, I mean, I it's one of the few games that I haven't played from this list, but I would constantly listen to on YouTube and just repeat some OSTs and whatnot because it's mesmerizing. I haven't played The Artful Escape. I don't know how good that one is. Maybe it has a generation breaking OST. I haven't really
I think
heard it.
that is a music game.
Yeah,
Is
it
it?
is. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Then I mean, could be a good chance to win. Cyberpunk. I don't know, man. I don't remember music of that game.
I
And
will
that's,
admit because I know we had a problem and basically everyone had a problem with it being nominated for RPG of the year. Cyberpunk deserves to be in best music. Its soundtrack
Yeah.
slaps. Yeah, I haven't even played the
I don't-
game and I listened to its
It's
OST.
been. I played it when it came out, and I stopped, and I just forgot, like, because I was so annoyed with the bugs that I had that I guess I didn't. I have to go back to it to listen to it, or just go to YouTube and check it out. But I need to do it more justice in terms of score and music, because I don't remember it.
I really wish that Scarlet Nexus was nominated in this one as well, because the composer something, I forgot his name. I'm not gonna butcher it, but it was actually his debut album, and he absolutely knocked it out of the park. He blends like a really so many catchy melodies with like a hip hop and funky beat to them, while also expanding on like the anime, like not tropes, more of just like the signatures of like an epic score with chorus in the background and all this jazz going on. So it feels like the best of both worlds when you're mixing Nier Automata and Persona vibes.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
speaking
good.
of Persona, I'm surprised that SMT5 is not here. Because,
Oh yeah, that too.
Sorry, who was it? It was Ryota, I think, Kozuka or something. I think it was not. I think it was two composers. They do great. They did phenomenal on that game, and it's more jazzy and upbeat, and more so like get prepared to redo this fight. And I think that it's that intensity comes through, and I've been in moments where you're fighting, right? It's encounter based. So when you start the fight in the turn based setting, there's no music. You attack, and then the music starts, and that's so badass. It's like we're not gonna start until you start, and I like that. I like how they set that up. But yeah, from what's here, yeah, I think either Near Replicant or Cyberpunk. Yeah, it says Jay. I take your word for it. I believe you. It's just I don't remember, but yeah.
Yeah. I Deathloop. It was all right. It definitely has some songs in it that slaps. Um, Ma- Matcha, how do you feel about Guardians being in here?
I think that's okay. I think that's good. Honestly, it does have a really good like superhero soundtrack that's on par with Marvel Spider-Man, or Sonic Spider-Man rather. Yeah, same thing. So I think it has a good score, and on top of that, the soundtrack is absolutely killer. Like whenever you're doing those huddle moments and the whatever song that's on shuffle plays, and whether it's the final countdown or never gonna get Rick Astley's never gonna give you up or something like that, right? It's whatever song it is, it's gonna get your blood pumping and get you in this mode that is tailored to like your specific experience with the huddle. So I think for that itself, like, and adding like all those different soundtracks was phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny
I
because
think it's deserving.
it reminds me of Death Stranding because it's very much a game with a playlist, and I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So I
Yep.
think if I had to guess, oh man, I think for some reason I feel like the Artful Escape is going to win, even though like I haven't even heard like a single song from it, but the way that people talk about it, it seems like it's really good.
Mm.
Um, I would probably, yeah, obviously, I think I would want Nier to win.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but okay, so best score music, best art direction. This one is interesting. We have The Artful Escape, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Kena Bridge of Spirits, and Deathloop. Why the fuck is Deathloop in here? It makes no goddamn like this again. Okay, so we had games like Guilty Gear Strive, right? That could have been in here.
Yeah,
We had
yeah,
games like
actually.
Sable that could have been in here, right? Like SMT5 could have been in here. Games like Chicory that could have been in here, but we put Deathloop. Like all these other games make sense, right? Or The Artful Escape makes sense. Ratchet makes sense. Psychonaut, Kena, all make sense. Deathloop though,
That's it's again, we can't. First of all, let's just say right off the bat, we cannot blame Jeff Keighley for these nominations. This all
100%.
falls on the 103, I think it is, outlets that voted for these.
Y'all fucked up.
Y'all need to
Let's
extend that back like game library. Like why? That feels like the mainstream. Let's put it in there. Like I don't.
no. It feels like a default option, man. To be
Yeah,
honest,
it's
like I
such a generic.
like there's some like cool like artistically there's some cool areas and stuff like that, and it definitely has that aesthetic of like what like a 70s or 80s sort of vibe to it or and whatnot.
Yeah,
And
but this ain't the best. Some cool parts. This is the best art direction.
yeah,
This
but
ain't.
I'm just saying, like in terms of direction, like yeah, it definitely sticks to that direction. Yeah, and it nails it. But like I'm just saying, like in terms of like there's far better options that came out this year. That's all I'm trying to say.
Like the ones below it.
I agree with you actually.
Yeah. Again, like a game like Guilty Gear Strive, man, that's just like a game in terms of it, like its aesthetics. It's just like poetry in motion. Like I don't know how that doesn't get a nod in here.
Because nobody played it, man.
Yep.
Nobody played it.
Yep.
Well, no, I wouldn't say not nobody played it, but no 103 outlets played it
Yeah.
enough to say this.
Probably from that 103, I bet you like 25 of them played it.
Probably.
Okay, so what would you guys pick from here? I would probably go. I think like I would want Kana to win, but I think the Artful Escape would probably win.
Yeah, I think it's between The Artful Escape and Psychonauts 2, because if there's one thing I can take from Psychonauts 2 is that the art direction was definitely a standout.
Okay. What about you, Walt?
From what I played and what I've seen, from what I've played, the one I would want to win is Kena. The one that I wouldn't mind winning is same as y'all mentioned, Psychonauts and the Artful Escape. Ratchet and Deathloop. It It doesn't. For me, they don't really stand out. They do what they do well, but in terms of nomination, that they wouldn't fall in my top 3 of these 5 nominations. Which, by the way, I don't know if you'll touch on it or if we're only doing the big ones. Are you gonna touch, or did you touch on best ongoing game?
No, we didn't do that yet. We did best community game so far.
God. I just wanted to say, like, anything that Final Fantasy 14 is on, it should win. Anyway,
That's right.
Let's go back.
So
Correct answer.
okay, so then best art direction, best narrative.
Best narrative.
So we have another interesting one. We have Psychonauts 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, Life is Strange, True Colors, It Takes Two, and fucking Deathloop. a game that is notoriously, like, for what we all know that the critics have sung its praises, but even the critics that have given this game 10 out of 10s across the board, the one sort of consensus complaint that they've had is that the ending is awful. And even taking aside the ending and its quote unquote twist ending, which is so dumb, the story is just like, it's just boring. Like it's I don't know. Like there's plenty of other stories that came out this year. I'm literally playing The Forgotten City right now, and in my 5 hours playing it, it's far more engaging and interesting than the 30 hours I spent with Deathloop.
The funny thing is, man, you completely just hit the nail on the head for why I wouldn't choose Psychonauts 2.
Ooh.
For this. And I understand, like, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. Even if I said it on social media, I'll get, like, so much flack for this. And that's really because Psychonauts 2, what it does is with its storytelling, it obviously hits a lot of, like, really, like, tough themes to really talk about, which is like mental illness and addiction, and it actually does a really good job of storytelling and with those themes and everything. But for me, like, it's the exact same reasons that you're listening Soul for Deathloop, where like the twist ending to it was just it was just like, what? It just felt like it was so shoehorned in, like a last minute story decision. And on top of that, the story pacing and like storytelling, like throughout the entire game, to me was just so blah.
Yeah.
Like when I was playing through Psychonauts 2, I'm like, I could like literally end it like halfway through the game and not come back and not care. And that's how I feel about Psychonauts 2 storytelling. Like the twist ending is it feels lazy, and then the actual playing through the game just felt like I was like, a part of me was like, I feel like I'm just doing it just to do it.
Gotcha.
Not because I want to. So that's why I would not choose Psychonauts 2 in this sense.
Gotcha.
But it'll probably win though. Just
you think Psychonauts would?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I personally I would want Guardians to take it. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Psychonauts. You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Life is Strange takes it either.
Yeah,
honestly,
I think so.
Honestly, from what I want to play, because what I'm seeing with the story with the streamer I've been looking at, it does what Life is Strange does best, and I think that with story and narrative and the characters intertwining everything and the development of the actual plot and how there's always twists and turns and the idea of empathy being a power, that brings out more from the characters, that adds up to the story. So you have this loop of just that feeds itself with more story-driven content. And I haven't played much of Guardians to determine if it, best narrative or not, but I've heard enough of It Takes Two for it to be a contender for that. And in my case, if I'm going full subjective, I would vote for Life is Strange. But I wouldn't mind if it either It Takes Two or Guardians wins. And from what Macho said, Psychonauts 2 doesn't sound like I would feel trustworthy to vote for that one. And Deathloop, get out of here. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, no. If I were to choose one for me, nearly every nomination has It Take Two in it. I'm voting for it, including best narrative.
Nice.
We have best debut indie. So that's Kena Bridge of Spirits, Sable, The Artful Escape, Forgotten City, Valheim. Um, I both want and think Kena will win. Even though Valheim, I know a lot of people love that, and I think that probably has a really good shot of winning as well.
I think the Artful Escape might be the one everyone wants to win, but probably won't because I don't really know a lot of people that played it, but the people that have played it love it, and I think Kena will win this one. I want to play Kena, guys, but GameStop won't have my PS5 version until next week, so whatever.
Yikes.
I was so
Well,
pissed, man.
What about you, man?
Man, gotta be honest, man. As much as I would love Kena to win, I just see Valheim just taking over so hard because when that debuted, the impact was insane, and the amount of people that were playing it, not only on the internet, Twitter, Twitch, but the amount of friends I had that were just on it day to day, every night. I see that one inning winning, easy, but it could be wrong, and one of the other ones takes it.
I don't know. I think Kena might have recency effect on it.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
the fact
point.
that 2 developers made it.
True, yeah, and it's a phenomenal game.
Best indie, we have Loop Hero, Inscription, Kena Bridge of Spirits, Death's Door, and 12 Minutes. Why is it 12 minutes in here?
Dude.
Because Daisy Ridley, Willem Dafoe are in it. That's why.
Oh, maybe, yeah. For
Yeah,
me,
can you imagine actually one of them actually comes to the Game Awards and announces for best indie game?
I mean, hey, I wouldn't be surprised.
Exactly.
But yeah, that game was so divisive, man. Yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
I think
I'm something up a loop game myself.
I think Death's Door will win, but I want Kena to win.
Same.
Yeah, I think Death's Door win too.
Yeah, I want Kena. I want Kena to take so many awards. Honestly, so many of these awards, it deserves so much.
Okay,
I'm
so
seeing a lot of Inscription lately
yeah,
online.
that's
a lot of
also
people
really
getting
good.
into that.
That's a really good game.
Yeah.
So last two, we have Best Game Direction, Deathloop, It Takes Two, Returnal, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think It Takes Two will win, and I want it to win.
100%.
Wait, for what game? For what nomination?
Best game direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I would be.
I agree.
Like the other categories, like there's some wiggle room. Like there's a lot of nominees in there that I'm like, okay, like even though I want game A to win, I could understand why game B would win. With Best Game Direction, I would be absolutely shocked if anything beats It Takes Two for this one.
Yeah, that's. See, the thing is, I have a feeling Psychonauts 2 is going to win because everyone wants to gravitate towards the sequel that went from Kickstarter to being funded by Xbox, and now it's the underdog, and it did so well. I'm gonna be like, it's so. I'm so tired, man.
Did you hear what Jack's theory about it?
No, I didn't.
He's like,
Oh yeah, actually I did. Yeah.
he's like, Psychonauts 2 bullied its way.
Yeah, I did hear him say that. Yeah, that dude, shout out to Jack Mujai. That dude always has me in tears.
Yeah.
No, best game direction. No, seriously, man. I would be so sad if It Takes Two doesn't win that, at least, just because it does things so much better than a lot of the games in the other categories, man. And again, not saying crap on Returnal, not saying Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank. I never played Deathloop, but the thing is, like, It Takes Two just has such a pinpoint perfection when it comes to gameplay pacing and puzzles and level variety. Like, it's an inventiveness. Like, it does so many things so well. And Joseph Fares needs his roses.
Yeah, I agree.
With that one, that is absolutely one of his best games.
So
Yeah.
last but not least, we have Game of the Year, Resident Evil Village, which when I woke up and I saw the nominees, I will admit that was the one that I was like really surprised actually managed to sneak in there.
Same here.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Ratchet, like I was expecting. I think in my mock list, I think I had like Death's Door in there. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Psychonauts 2, Metroid Dread, It Takes Two, and Deathloop.
It Takes Two is 100% for me. 100%. And I'm gonna echo what I said for game direction, where like a lot of these games are like absolutely phenomenal. Besides Deathloop, 'cause I haven't played it, but but it just like that experience. It Takes Two. It just does so much, and I think it really like sends like a. I think it sends a very powerful message about like video games for who could be nominated for Games of the Year as well, because with It Takes Two is a new IP. It's a co-op game, and it does new things with a co-op game, and it takes things in the story direction and gameplay direction and in the music and voice acting and storytelling in ways that it does better than anything else in this list. Metroid Dread, obviously it's a great contender, but for me not better than It Takes Two. Psychonauts 2 already said why the gameplay department, despite the storytelling mishaps, just don't do it for me. Ratchet and Clank Resident Evil Village kind of fall into the same, where it's like I love them, that I played them before, and they offer new and great experiences, but it does not trump It Takes Two.
For me, I think Metroid is gonna win because we know the gaming industry loves their Nintendo games, man. So I think that's going to win. Jesus Christ. Um, yeah, so I think that's gonna win, and then I don't know, man. This is a weird. I mean, it's not a weird list because like I feel like if you were like these are the games that I feel like are probably like quote unquote like I guess like the standouts from this year, right? Barring there's some omissions like Death's Door and Returnal and Forza etc etc. But I feel like in terms of like what came out this year, then like yeah okay I think this is probably like the list, but like also at the same time like I look at this list and like even games that I did enjoy like Ratchet. I I honestly I would put Returnal over Ratchet. In terms of like the games that I enjoyed this year, but like for me personally, like my game of the year my favorite games that I played this year like aren't on this list. So like I don't know, it's like a weird list for me. I think Metroid Dread will take it. The game that I want to win, I don't know if I have one, to be honest. What about you, Walt?
Man, I'm thinking because I played a lot of games that didn't come out this year that I really liked, and games that I would have voted for on the spot are not here. No questions asked. Because the thing is, man, I feel I never played It Takes Two, but I've seen and heard so much of it, and I've seen so many people play it to the point where I see it. I would be inclined to saying that I want that one to win for what it is. But if I'm gonna vote, if it's me choosing the one right now that I enjoyed the most this year out of the ones that I'm seeing currently as we speak, I'm being realistic. It'd be Resident Evil, because that's the only one out of this list that I played to the point to where I didn't stop because I was not having fun. It's just because I had nothing else to do. I was like, okay, I'm pretty much done with the game. I wish there was more, but
Yeah, it was the first Resident Evil game I got the platinum in.
Yeah, it's a good list, for the most part. I wouldn't mind. Now the ones I wouldn't mind that one were Ratchet or Metroid. Psychonauts 2, I don't know enough to where I wouldn't mind of it. And Deathloop, we know about Deathloop in this podcast. But yeah, that would be my pick, Resident Evil, but only for the factor of how much I've played it this year.
Yeah. It's been I don't know. It feels like it's been a quiet year, but at the same time, like when you actually like list the games that came out, then it's like, all right, like it's been a pretty decent year.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I wanted to move into really quickly before we move into like the last topic about like the PlayStation Studios stuff. Is that like I feel like my biggest issue with the Game Awards is that like when you look at these categories, man, it's literally just the same games nominated over and over and over and over again. So like my biggest problem is that it feels like there's just like a lack of like diversity in this thing, right? Like every year it just feels like, okay, the Japanese games, we just dump them into like the best RPG category and we call it a day. Maybe, you'll have a nomination, for best score music, like when, a Nier game comes out or a Persona game comes out, then, they'll be in best music. But like really aside from that, it's like you'll never see one of these games in best narrative. You'll never see one of these games in best art direction, even though they fucking deserve it, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird. And then to Masha's point, why isn't someone like Erica Lindbeck in best performance, right? Why isn't some of the from when Persona 5 came out? Why wasn't some of those guys in best performance? Yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird the lack of like we call this like a celebration of gaming every year when the Game Awards comes around, right? But it feels like we're only celebrating like Western games for the most part, or games from a very specific, region of the world. Um, I don't know. It just bothers me that Japanese games or games that are outside of sort of Lost Judgment was barely in any of these, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
It just bothers me that these games don't get the recognition and love that they should, and it's because these publications, for whatever reason, just don't play these games. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that, or just like your overall thoughts about the Game Awards in general?
I think I'm just sick and tired of like people breathing down Jeff Keighley's neck for what's nominated and what's not.
I've never seen that man be attacked like so much over
Yeah, guess
for
what camp is
Forza.
from too.
From
Yeah, guess what?
Forza.
And then I'm just gonna be blatant here, man. Jez Corden,
Oh
that Windows
no.
Central article, you gotta do better, man. Putting Jeff Keighley's face on that article, just because Jeff Keighley's obviously the headliner, it's his show, he's created it, is not his fault what gets nominated.
Yeah,
And he updated the article too, but like it was so irresponsible to put his face on that because that man's Twitter's is going to be attacked for the next month because Forza Horizon 5 wasn't nominated for Game of the Year, and a whole bunch of these Twitter warriors are trying to do their best to make it happen when it's not going to happen. It's already been voted. It's already done. So that article to me was so irresponsible to put his face like right as like on the front and cover of it.
yeah. And it's like at the end of the day, it's like who cares? Like it's just video games. At the end of the day, like it's not that
Yeah.
serious. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Yep.
and yeah, no. It's just aggravating that people are just trying to breathe this down man's neck for this game. But yeah, no, I would to concur with you. So I think I think at the same time, it's like it feels like we're mishapping a little bit, and it really has to do with the publications, man, and what they play and what they don't play. Um, I don't know. It does like the whole nominations, like it does feel like it's a little bit of a miss this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm really happy It Takes Two, even though it came out early in the year, is still staying strong, is still like in these people's minds, as far as like one of the best games of the year, because it
And
absolutely is.
and Hitman 3 didn't for whatever reason, even though it's like one of the highest rated games of the year. It's a crime, man. It's a crime.
Oh man, it's one of the highest rated games of the year, but oh man, didn't get nominated.
I think it's like an 80. I think it's like an 88 on Metacritic. And listen, man, I'm gonna ignore that sarcasm in your voice, man. But yeah, man, it's a shame, man. It's a shame.
That's funny.
But
That's funny.
yeah. Walt, you have anything about this before we move on?
Listen, man. The only way you can win against the rats on the internet is just by ignoring them. Bro. It's like Marsha said, man. And you, we're playing games and we're having fun. This is a hobby. This is a passion we have. This is a lifestyle that it's something that you choose to partake in and have fun in. Why take it to this extent and like Marsha said, breathe on this man's neck and not look at the big picture and seeing how these things work. If people thought more critically and took a step back and just took at least, it only takes 5 seconds for you to think. It only takes.
The funny thing is that like Matcha, like to your point, that people are crying that like, oh, he has a bias towards PlayStation, etc., etc. When Xbox has more nominations than PlayStation this year, I'm like, how is he biased then? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's still
people sending him like the gif of the Jetsons where like
Right.
Mr. Jetson's playing like taking on his wallet. Yeah, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. When like because like I see
Yeah.
that I'm just like, do you? And people were asking, well, how are these things nominated? How does this work? Bro, it's on the website.
Yeah, it's all on the
Like,
website,
you,
man.
you just have to go on a website.
Yeah.
It's legit all there. Like I don't get what's the problem for all this. Like it's so aggravating, man. And the time we're supposed to be celebrating video games, people just want to bitch and moan that their game's not on the Game of the Year list just for what, brownie points, so they can talk about it in podcasts. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, and to people like that, like try grabbing an apple and like throwing it in front of you and see if it floats. You'll notice that orbit is not around you. The world does not revolve around you. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of games that have never seen the light of day and are phenomenal. Like why? Who are you? Who are you to determine like why wasn't mine? No, dude, it's not about you. This is a business. At the end of the day, there's also a business. Game Awards is not charity. It's not a non-profit. What's wrong with you?
I think
Like,
that's
this
Walt's quote for the podcast. It's not about you.
It's
Yeah,
not
I guess
about
so.
you.
I guess so.
It really ain't. Let's just celebrate.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it for the Game Awards, man. That took that took a big chunk of our podcast time. So we
Told
can, yeah. But we can kind of, I guess, like kind of breeze through this last one. I wanted to you know, the PS5's first anniversary happened recently. And with that, we had Jim Ryan go on the PS blog and kind of tease that there are currently 25 PlayStation Studios titles in development. And I wanted to see if we could, take a page out of Podcast Beyond and see if we could guess all 25. So I feel like there's a big portion of it that we already know about, so we could like quickly run through those, and then after that, like I think it would be fun if we just kind of like guess like what else we think is in development. So yeah, we can just like put together this list really quickly. So of the 25, we obviously know God of War Ragnarok is in development right now. So that's number one out of 25. What else?
Yikes.
Factions too.
Okay.
Man.
Factions 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gran Turismo 7. I am shocked and disappointed no one said Horizon Forbidden West.
I mean, that's a given, right? Isn't that a given?
But that's one
I
of
thought
the
we were talking about
25.
like most of like I thought we were talking like most. I don't know. We just say Gran Turismo, but
Yeah, that's of the 25.
okay. Yeah, and Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah.
God damn, I was like, y'all drunk or something? What's going on?
Persona 6.
Nah, that's not a PlayStation Studios title.
Fuck. I was like, I can slip in a Persona. Come on.
Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Ooh.
You think that's in development right now?
Absolutely. Yeah, a movie's in development. Of course, a game sequel's in development.
Okay. Insomniac. What?
Wolverine.
Oh yeah, Wolverine and Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Can I be ridiculous right now?
Okay.
Sure.
Sly Cooper reboot.
Okay. That's yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So okay.
Goes in
So
In the
let me
cap
put
section.
Sly. Okay. So in total right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we also know that Jade Raymond's game, whatever that is.
Yep.
Yeah, just
That's
titled
please.
Jade Raymond.
Fire. What's the other? Fire Spit, Fire Haven. What's the other one?
The one
Fire.
they're making the multiplayer game.
Yeah.
That's
Firewatch.
Firewalk, and then Deviation Games. That's 2 right there.
Yeah. Yep.
Is Ghostwire?
No.
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 I love Jay. No.
I mean that's the same as Deathloop. Those aren't PlayStation Studios games.
But isn't the same thing with Firehaven? No, that's not PlayStation Studios. They're just
That's
partnered.
that's PlayStation Studios because PlayStation is like funding it.
Oh, okay. So it includes third-party publishing then.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Gotcha.
Then I'm gonna say a game from Devolver Digital.
I guess how do I? Because that's not because that I think that would fall in line with like a Kena Bridge of Spirits, you know. I guess what I'm saying is that like projects like Sackboy Big Adventure, a game that like Sony XDev worked on, a game like Bloodborne that Sony Japan teamed up with From Software to work on, you know.
Oh, okay.
Demon Souls before Blue Point was a part of, you know, PlayStation, a game that XDev and Japan Studio helped out Blue Point work on. Those are you know, PlayStation Studios. Unlike a game like Deathloop, which is something that Sony just paid for exclusivity on. Or
Okay.
something like Kena Bridge of Spirits is something that Sony just. I think they may have actually helped with that as well, but like, you know, they have like a 1 year exclusivity on. Like a game not like Kena Bridge of Spirits is what I'm trying to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
A game like Destruction All Stars, a game that you know Sony like actively helped with the development of that game.
Speaking of that, Twisted Metal.
There you go.
Twisted Metal
I was
reboot.
about-
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say Team Asobi, because they're working on something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Astrobot sequel or like an actual full game.
Mhm.
Okay.
A proper, full, yeah. Can I cap for a moment?
Okay.
By all means.
A Bloodborne remake?
Yeah.
Or remaster?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we know that what's their name? Blue Point is working apparently making a remake, and they're doing their own game. A small, well, the rumor is like a smaller game on the vein of like a Miles Morales in terms of like scale. So
Right.
I'll put Bloodborne
For sure.
remake, and then Blue Point, new IP.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, and this is tricky because I don't know if this would be a PlayStation Studios. Also, like PlayStation Studios, like Death Stranding would fall in line with that.
Right.
But Kojima, like, do we think anything? You know, the Silent Hill or the Metal Gear or Death Stranding 2? What do you guys want? Like, if in your
What do I
perfect
want?
world, yeah. What do you guys want to put on that list?
PT?
Yeah, I
PT.
know, right? Yeah,
It's not
PT.
gonna happen.
But I think Norman Reedus actually was. I think he didn't get in trouble, but I think he let it, you know,
Okay.
let it out that there was a Death Stranding 2.
Okay. So we can put Death Stranding 2 on there. All right. So in total, right now we
Sure.
have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Okay.
So we need.
Uncharted 5.
Hell no, but
or-
we do.
or a
But
spin-off.
to that point, what's its name? The Ben Studio is making a new IP. They came out and said that. So Ben Studio new IP, and then also to that point, we know
Days Gone.
Santa Monica is also making another project, a new IP.
Yeah, by
Which-
Cory Barlog.
Yeah, by Cory Barlog. So we'll put that as well. I'm trying to think of like the other PlayStation studios. I'm trying to think about them. We know Pixel Opus is Macho. What was it? They were partnering with who to make their next game?
I don't know, but they did say they were working on a PS5 game.
Wasn't it like Sony Pictures or something like that?
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right. Actually, let me look it up.
Okay.
But yeah,
So-
that's a game to put on there. That's definitely the next game they're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're working with Sony Pictures Animation.
Gotcha.
Would Housemarque be working on something?
I mean, they
100%.
just finished Returnal though,
I mean,
so like,
Who's
Who's stopping from, just getting on the next horsey? I don't know.
No, I guarantee they're already working on like at least
Yeah,
building
at
up
least
the
concept.
concept, of the next game for sure. Yeah, they probably started like when a couple months from Return of Going Gold.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think their next game is obviously not gonna be for like maybe 2025.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I think they're working on their next game.
There's rumors that Sony and From might be doing another game.
Yep. That was yeah. There was a rumor for that, and it was gonna be like a new IP or something.
Right.
Damn, I almost said Japan Studio, but rip, never mind. I'm dead inside.
Literally, rip.
All right.
We did say Sly Cooper.
Yep,
Yeah.
I think that's definitely either. I think a reboot's definitely in development. But
Yeah. Wasn't Macho? Remind me. Wasn't that new studio that Sony got, Fire Sprite? Weren't they working like 2 projects or something?
yeah, that's the one I was referencing actually. Yeah, I think they're working on a multiplayer game, but I don't know about 2 projects though.
It was like a multiplayer game, and then they had like a narrative. Like they said, it was like a dark narrative. Like
Oh, I don't remember that actually. I just remember it being a multiplayer game because they talked about it like in an interview.
let me look it up really quick.
I know they made, what was it, The Persistence? Was
Yeah,
that
I
them?
wouldn't be surprised if one of them is working on a Resistance game.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, with some consulting from Insomniac. Yeah,
All
I
right.
think that could probably be in the cards.
Jesus Christ. So this article says that Fire Sprite job listings reveal 4 exciting games.
Oh,
That they're working on 4 games.
How big is that team? Jesus Christ!
I think they're like the biggest game studio in the UK or something like that.
Really?
damn.
Wow.
Yeah, they
Oh,
have
yeah,
like
they're based in Liverpool.
they have like over like 250 employees, and then they just acquired they themselves acquired a studio as well. Remember that?
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
How many people they got? I don't know. We got more. It's like, okay.
Damn, how many people are taking off vacation this year? Shit.
Get that PTO, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're working on. Are they working? You said something dark?
It's weird because okay, so the job listing says that they're working on a VR game.
Right. They've
but-
done a lot of VR games.
And apparently that game is people are speculating that it's a Horizon VR title. So that's one of the 4 projects, and then yeah, right here it says a narrative adventure game is one of the games that they're working on as well. Yeah, they have several job listings that are saying that Fire Sprite is developing a dark story-driven narrative adventure game.
What if Studio Bend is working on PlayStation All Stars 2?
It's a new IP, man. That ain't happening. They said it's a new IP.
PlayStation versus.
I hate to burst your bubble, man, but they ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole, man. You kidding me? You want Ben's studio to be working on that?
I'm not saying they are. I'm throwing mud at the wall right now, man.
Okay, so we could put Fire Sprite in there.
You want Ben Studio to work on a funny?
Yeah, come on.
Bring back Bubsy.
I'm trying to think
Siphon remake.
what other studios are we missing?
Gorilla? No, they're working on Horizon.
Yeah, we already got them.
Well, Gorilla's probably working on their next thing. It's either the Horizon multiplayer or something different. So I guess you got the Horizon multiplayer because that's been in the talks for a while.
What the hell is that?
Oh.
Really, the rumor sphere is that the Gorilla was going to do like a Horizon multiplayer.
Oh, well, was it? There was some rumor for like a long time that they have like a second team, but like they were working like on
Yeah.
SOCOM or something.
I don't know about SOCOM. I did hear rumors about the Horizon multiplayer that was going to be a standalone. It wasn't going to be like an expansion to the first game or even the second game. But it was going to be a standalone thing.
You can play as the
And
woolly
then people,
mammoth.
yeah, well, but people were thinking it was going to be Monster Hunter-esque.
Oh.
I'm trying to think. I ain't putting Media Molecule on this list, man. We know,
I was about
we
to
know,
say.
we know they're working on Dreams. That's what.
Dreams 2.
Yeah, by the way, so how's your playthrough of Dreams? Did you get did you get far? Did you beat the story?
I'll tell you how it's doing right now, man. You know, I invested some of that money into purchasing Deathloop. That's what happened.
I knew it. Oh man, that trophy count did not go up. I did see it.
Bruh.
Oh man, you're looking at my trophies? God damn.
Hell yeah, look at your trophy. Call me the trophy police, son.
Oh man.
Fucking, who is it? Greg Miller, he's always on Blessing's ass. Like, show your trophies.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Don't private them. What are you doing? This is not your social security account.
So I was gonna say, anything VR, like from London Studio or something.
Okay, that's another one. Which
Yeah.
I don't know, because there's been like things saying that they're working on a PS5 game. But
Could it
yeah,
be preparing for PSVR 2? I don't know, but PSVR 2 hasn't really been officially announced either. So
No, it has. It's
Yeah,
just
it
like
has it?
it hasn't
it's
been
just
shown.
nothing named,
Officialized.
but
Nothing named. Okay, so it hasn't been officialized and named. Okay.
But yeah, London Studio is a good one because yeah, we definitely know that they are working on something. I think it's a Getaway reboot. I know Gene disagrees with me, but I think it's a Getaway reboot. So yeah, London Studio, and then again, I'm trying to go through like PlayStation Studios, like the ones that are like underneath their umbrella.
Right.
I
You
think
mentioned
we
Santa
got-
Monica.
I think
San
we got
Diego.
like most of them. We didn't do San, so I guess San Diego would count as well. MLB 2023 or whatever.
Another.
But yes, that technically would count.
We touched on Pixel Opus.
Yep.
Okay. I'm closing my eyes and I'm like, let me look at the archive. What is it? Nixus, was it the other one?
Yeah, but they're not making games.
Yeah, they're just doing ports.
Yeah.
Man, damn, how we forget this one? The Last of Us remake.
Oh, true. That's the
true.
thing.
The
I'm
Last of Us
gonna put
remake.
that under with factions as well.
Okay.
What are you talking about? Jim Ryan ain't counting numbers like that. Those are two separate things, my man.
You think they're gonna be two separate things?
It's PlayStation, bro. Come on.
I think
PlayStation.
it's gonna be something that you can access within the Last of Us remake.
Yeah, you hope.
I think so.
You hope.
Stop the cap.
I would not be surprised if that thing's what's like Naughty Dog's make a standalone multiplayer game. And it's not gonna be tied to the Last of Us remake.
Oh, that is true.
They go Warzone on us. They make a single hub where you can play Last of Us 2, one remake, and factions all in one.
It would be cool, but yeah, no. Last of Us remake is definitely not having factions in it.
No. And you mentioned Ghost of Tsushima, so Sucker Punch out of the
100%
equation.
not. Yeah. If the Uncharted collections didn't come with their own multiplayer, then the Last of Us remake is not getting factions again. Their
Wait,
platform's gonna be Last of Us 2 factions.
I'm not surprised the Uncharted collection didn't come with multiplayer.
It was so praised though. People love the multiplayer for those games.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that it didn't.
Okay, I think, man, there was. Is there any other like partners that PlayStation has done, like exclusives with before, like like a Sackboy or a Bloodborne or a Death Stranding that you guys can think of, like any studios like that they've worked with?
Sumo Digital did Sackboy, right?
And I think they're making Sly Cooper.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're making another game with them too, though. Like another Sackboy game.
Don't get greedy now. They're I think they're like owned by Tencent now. Let's not put our hand in the cookie jar a little too much now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But
You're right.
yeah, I mean aside from that, like you know what? This is gonna be my wild prediction.
Your cap.
Actually, I was gonna say the KOTOR remake, is that's a Sony Interactive Entertainment like published game, but I don't know if it's. It didn't say PlayStation Studios like when it was introduced, so like I don't know, because that's a game that like they are like I think like funding in some capacity, but I don't know if like I don't know. That's a weird one. I'm not gonna put it on the list, but that's a weird one.
Right.
I'm looking at my shelf right now to see if there's like any other. I would imagine that there's definitely gonna be like one out of left field partner studio that we just never see coming that we can't account for on this list. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Is what's Plague Tale? Does that one count or no?
No, that's multi-platform.
Oh, what about a no, that's not PlayStation Studios. I was thinking about a Remedy exclusive.
I mean, that could be a PlayStation Studios title, much in the same vein of like like a Death Stranding,
Yeah, something from Remedy.
Yeah, that's
Gravity Rush 3. I'm kidding. That's dead.
Come on, man. Now you're just saying shit, man.
The
Wishful
Order.
thinking. It's not the wishful thinking box.
Yeah, man.
Well, this is the sort of thing where dreams happen.
I was thinking something like a Neo 2, but I think again that falls because that game is also a Sony Interactive Entertainment published game, but like KOTOR remake apparently is, but it's not a PlayStation Studios game, so yeah, I don't know, but again, there could be something out of left field like a partnership like that could be in there that we just don't know about. But I think that's pretty much. I think we have like a pretty good list, to be honest. Okay, so God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us remake, Factions 2, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima sequel, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, Sly Cooper remake, Jade Raymond's game, Deviations multiplayer game, Firewalk Studios multiplayer game, Twisted Metal, Astrobot sequel, Bloodborne remake, Blue Point's new IP, Death Stranding 2, Bed Studios new IP, Santa Monica's new IP, Pixel Opus new IP with Sony Pictures, a From Software new IP, Fire Sprite. I just put Fire Sprite even though they got like goddamn 4 games that they're working on. London Studios PS5 or PSVR 2 game, MLB The Show 23. I don't know how much that is. I think that's 25. I didn't count.
Golly.
But yeah, I think like most of those, like I don't know about you guys, but I think like a majority of those like sounds plausible. There was rumors that there's like an Infamous game in development as well, but like I don't know. I feel like I feel like I need more before I can put that on the list. But yeah, I feel like as we are today, I feel like this is like a pretty good list to like fill out that 25.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting an Infamous game, honestly. I don't think we're getting another superhero game that's gonna, because everybody's gonna compare it to Spider-Man and Wolverine. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
All right, man. Damn.
I mean, I know I love Infamous too, man. I love those games, but man, we're not getting that.
Yeah.
They gave us a tease of that Spider-Man 2 teaser before.
Yeah.
But
People went crazy.
I went crazy, man. I was like,
Electricity. It's like it's like cavemen. They've never seen electricity. It's like, infamous.
Hey man, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I was just like that too.
Hey man, same. No, gotta lie. It was the setting, the vibe, but hey, we're not gonna do anything. But I was gonna mention, it's been a while. It's on PC now, but I was gonna say Quantum Dream, but no.
Nah, they're multi-platform now.
No.
Absolutely not.
Abort.
Thank God they got away from that. But yeah, I think that pretty much is the 25, man. Is there any sort of like wild card thing that you think may be a possibility aside from PlayStation All Stars 2?
Like I said, I'm really hoping for Sly Cooper, man.
Yeah.
A Sly Cooper reboot with I don't know about different voice actors, but with just the same vibe and tone of like the original trilogy.
Oh no, you gotta have the same voice actors there.
Yeah.
Kevin Miller as Sly is fucking legendary. My problem is I don't know how you feel about this, Macho. Is that like I like Sly 1, but I would much rather have Sly 2 remade.
No, yeah. I want if I had a choice, I would have them all remade. But but I would definitely like love either just a resurgence of that series again. It was so much fun, especially Sly 2. And the thing is, I don't want them to like hold back punches either. I want them to really live and breathe in like that IP, the way that Ratchet and Clank didn't really get that transition for this gen. So I hope it gets that same kind of tone. But again, we'll see. But just give me Carmelita Fox, man. I need that. I need that.
Man.
Ay.
Well, yeah, I guess that pretty much does it for that topic in this week's podcast, man. Because we've gone way over, man.
I just want to touch on real quick on because we mentioned it in the tweet, the whole Activision thing that's going on. Is Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer commented on it and basically kind of drew the line in the sand when it came to their allegiance with Activision Blizzard. We just want to say, I think I can speak for all. I was going to say that we stand with like the employees and having Bobby Kotick resign, even though it's a complete long shot. But it's good to see the leaders actually say something.
Yeah, get them the fuck out, man.
Seriously,
take the trash out, man.
Seriously,
you leave it in there too long, it's gonna stink, and it's stinking already.
Okay, so
100%.
really quickly before we end this, god fucking damn it, this game. So I'm like in this like fortress right now, with a bunch of like it looks like they're just like female like warriors or like assassins or thieves or something. Like they occupied this like castle, and they kind of let me pass without a problem. I just walked through it, and they were like. They're kind of being like intimidating, like, hey, you shouldn't be here, like, get out of here. So yeah, I was just passing through, and fucking one of my companions blew up a red barrel next to one of them, and then they're like, you're gonna regret that, and now we're like fighting a goddamn war, man. Even though like I had like no intention of that, man. We were just being peaceful, just walking by, and then I don't know, man. Anyway, oh no, I think one of them had a quest for me. Shit.
Oh this man's struggling right now.
I gotta fucking restart this shit. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to the DualShock Sense podcast. Want to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. And we're gonna get started with these outros before we head out. Macho, why don't you kick things off?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. It was a good one. Definitely one of the best shows out there right now. I cannot wait to finish the last episode. And also, go and check out the Atlas shop. They have a lot of Persona merch. And I caught myself a nice Persona 25th anniversary t-shirt. Definitely go check that out, man. They got some cool designs on there. Although that hoodie, though, is $100. You might want to save for a paycheck for that one.
Oh, man. Walt, what about you, man?
Man, what can I say? I appreciate y'all sticking around this long. This is one of the longer ones. We went on some topics, but we had fun. It's always fun to talk about games, talk about the good stuff, and what can I say, man? Yes, watch Arcane. I wholeheartedly agree. Watch Arcane. Copy yourself a good JRPG. This year you got options. You got Scarlet, you got SMT, you got Tales, you got options. There's no excuse. Oh no, but Japan, I don't have it. No, you got options, okay? Even Pokemon, for all I care. Just copy yourself a JRPG, join the family, FF14, the trial. There's just so much goodness this year. And also, go watch some Tom Segura on Netflix. That dude is hilarious. I think you're going to enjoy him. Dark humor, kind of serious, but he's a fun time. Other than that, man, cannot wait to continue for Act 2 of Arcane, because I feel the withdrawal symptoms are already kicking in. Now, I need to watch more Arcane. But yeah, man, more games, more glory. Take it away, Jay.
Yeah, for me, going to be working through the Forbidden City, finishing that off for next podcast, hopefully. But yeah, other than that, not too much. Macho, I don't know if you noticed, but your boy, Battlefield 2042 is noticeably absent from his, current, playlist right now.
What is that?
Battlefield.
Halo?
No, man, you heard what I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
It absolutely is. What happened, man? What happened?
Hey, man.
I thought you wanted to go flying in the hurricanes and doing all your zippy zips and your snipey snipes. What happened, bro?
Hey, man, there'll be time for that. There'll be time for that. Just not at the moment, Just
Man, just go Xbox All Access and pay per month and play some Halo with us.
yeah, man,
Yes.
that ain't happening.
Join us.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining us for this week's episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast, and we will catch you guys later. Peace.